Before existence itself emerged, a tremendous struggle was taking place across the cosmos, and conflict raged throughout the celestial realm. The warrior Michael and his heavenly companions clashed against the great serpent. These passages from Revelation speak not merely of any heavenly being, but of the supreme commander of heaven's armies. Throughout the sacred scriptures, Archangel Michael makes his appearance at critical turning points. From strange encounters in antiquated documents to his foretold participation in the end of times, his narrative stretches across millennia and appears throughout many sacred volumes. Yet many have never heard his full account. Our task today involves gathering each scriptural reference to construct the remarkable story of God's most formidable angel. Before we dive in, for those discovering this channel for the first time, think about pressing that like button and subscribe if this content resonates with you. Feel free to share where you're viewing from and the local time. We're establishing a worldwide following right here. Now then, shall we begin this extraordinary journey? In the boundless expanse beyond our existence, in times before history as we comprehend it commenced, a magnificent kingdom flourished, inhabited by creatures composed of radiance. These celestial entities, fashioned by divinity itself, journeyed through the infinite heavens in absolute synchronization. A structure of hierarchy pervaded this domain of divine beings. Ranging from infinite multitudes of angels to the supreme seraphim positioned nearest the divine throne, every celestial servant, with distinct responsibilities, participated together in a harmonious cosmic performance. Some maintained oversight of celestial bodies, others functioned as divine messengers, and many others delighted in heavenly splendor. Presiding over all heavenly forces was an entity of unparalleled might and unwavering commitment. Michael, whose designation translates to "What being equals God?" This represents not interrogation, but exclamation at the magnificence of the Creator. Michael, possessing wings that extended through the width of the universe and gazes that shone with the brilliance of countless stars, commanded the angelic legions with understanding and compassion. Sacred writings describe Michael as commander of the heavenly multitude, supreme in station, given charge of the most sacred responsibilities. Unlike his companions, Michael wielded a blade engulfed in flames and carried armor that shimmered with sanctified light. His utterance, when spoken with authority, possessed the strength to quell chaos or destabilize the pillars of reality. Initially, only tranquility inhabited the heavenly kingdom. The celestial bodies harmonized together, and all divine offspring sang with jubilation. All inhabitants comprehended their appointed station, executing their functions with happiness and absolute alignment with divine intention. Michael, perpetually watchful, traveled among them, serving as both commander and companion. Yet, even in this flawless realm, the potential for transformation was emerging. For amidst the most elevated positions of the heavenly hosts existed one known as the Morning's Light, a being whose radiance surpassed nearly every other. Endowed with capabilities in music, comprehension, and attraction, this entity, Lucifer, maintained an elevated place in heaven's assembly. His appendages glittered with stones that captured brilliance, and his voice produced melodies that stirred angels to tears of happiness. Throughout that timeless period, something began shifting within the heart of this brilliant being. Where devotion once occupied, a different sensation commenced its growth. A modest glow that would ultimately ignite the firmament. It commenced with straightforward wondering, innocent queries concerning fundamental principles. What purpose did obligation serve? What necessity existed for bowing? What prevented them from ascending? These murmured musings intensified. This being's radiance, formerly unsullied and vivid, underwent transformation, glorious, unchanged, yet fundamentally altered. In isolated sections of the divine realm, this entity commenced attracting kindred beings, dispersing, intensifying skepticism and yearning. "We possess significance," he proclaimed. "We merit superiority." Michael witnessed these modifications with escalating unease. He perceived the incremental modifications in this being's actions, the accumulation of aligned companions, the concealed assemblies. What had once remained transparent and available now seemed shadowed, even within the domain of flawless light. Michael petitioned the celestial throne, requesting understanding regarding this unexpected situation. Subsequently, the foundation was established for the initial great discord in reality, a conflict composed not of substance and gore, but of determination and essence. Michael represented the steadfast custodian of celestial arrangement. Opposing stood the ambitious entity, whose aspirations would modify the structure of the universe forever. The celestial battlefield was assembling, and momentarily the very structure of creation would quiver beneath the intensity of their opposition. The inaugural celestial war, Michael against Lucifer. The serenity of paradise deteriorated like fragile crystalline underneath excessive force. The once luminous being, no longer satisfied with servitude, desired authority. His discourse infected the angelic assembly like spreading embers. Guarantees of emancipation, of dominion, of transformation. What justification existed for genuflection? He questioned. Are we not magnificent entities unto ourselves? One portion of the heavenly multitudes embraced his perspective. Angels who once sang in unified concord now discussed uprising. The composition of heaven itself seemed to diminish as discord permeated what had perpetually remained unified. Michael maintained his conviction as this tempest increased in strength. His dedication never fluctuated, even momentarily. The celestial arrangement was not merely directives for compliance. It embodied the equilibrium inherent to everything that is, the designated nature of the cosmos. Tampering with this arrangement would release only turmoil and suffering. Revelation speaks of this ancient struggle in striking illustrations, and discord erupted in paradise. Michael and his supporters opposed the great serpent, and the serpent fought back through his allies and could not succeed, nor was his location maintained in the divine realm. Envision not a confrontation utilizing mechanical instruments and physical harm, but a meeting of intentions and abilities, transcending human perception, illumination, confronting shadow, equilibrium resisting divergence, benevolence facing self-centeredness. Paradise itself shook with the intensity of their collision. Constellations trembled in their orbits as Michael marshaled the obedient angels against the defiant armies. Michael's blade of living fire penetrated the corruption, growing within the rebellious forces. Every thrust served not demolition, but renewal, re-establishment of cosmic harmony. Yet the defiant one battled with recently obtained abilities. Deception, mirage, and fragmentation comprised his implements now. What he had formerly crafted as magnificence, he now perverted, harnessing his abilities to mislead and delude. The struggle expanded throughout paradise. Worlds watched the confrontation as companions once unified transformed into rivals. Michael's legions maintained their conviction without wavering, even encountering previous allies. Their responsibility was not one they embraced with enthusiasm, yet one they comprehended as essential for sustaining the equilibrium of all existence. Ultimately came the turning moment. Michael faced the adversary, now burning with his own shadow radiance. "You cannot triumph," Michael proclaimed with simplicity. "What you battle is the intrinsic character of everything." The defiant entity discharged a flood of rebellious energy. But Michael was ready. With force arising not from self-interest, but from devotion, Michael defeated the insurgent. The loyalist multitude advanced, and jointly they expelled the rebellious being and his followers from paradise's splendor. Down they descended, these formerly brilliant entities, now converted by their selections into something unprecedented and frightening. The fall of Lucifer and his heavenly allies changed them eternally. They no longer remained creatures of pure radiance. Their uprising had deformed their core, converting them into what would subsequently be termed demons. The being once called Lightbearer became recognized as Satan, the opposition, foe of everything virtuous and righteous. Following triumph, Michael and the constant angels re-established tranquility within the divine kingdom. The scars of war gradually mended, though recollections lingered. A portion of their number had departed, not obliterated, for celestial beings endure, yet transformed and exiled. Paradise seemed diminished now, yet reconciled in aim and compassion. Following this initial conflict, Michael's significance intensified substantially. He transformed from merely a director during epochs of concord. He had demonstrated his capability as a protector throughout strife. His burning blade grew into an emblem of heavenly authority and safeguarding. Henceforth, Michael persisted as Paradise's fortification against increasing shadows, ever vigilant for indications of the defeated being's schemes. The expelled insurgents, conversely, declined to acknowledge their loss. Remaining in the expanse but excluded from Paradise, they directed their focus toward the remaining universe. If supremacy couldn't be achieved in Paradise, potentially they might establish dominion elsewhere. Consequently originated the timeless strife that would ultimately make contact with all regions of existence, eventually touching a modest planetary body rotating around a typical luminous sphere. The characteristics of heavenly princes. Michael's function and capabilities among all cosmic entities. Heavenly princes exist in a distinct category. Consider them as cosmic foundations, mighty forces sustaining reality's coherence. Though angels operate as representatives and facilitators, heavenly princes carry weightier obligations. They command the celestial military, tasked with functions that mold reality's trajectory. The expression Archangel derives from antiquated Greek, denoting supreme angel or primal angel. Merely a handful of beings possess this elevated position. Within particular traditions, their count stands at 7. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Raguel, Jagudiel, and Barachiel. Every one carries distinctive abilities and obligations in the celestial arrangement. Michael holds the foremost position within these formidable entities. His placement surpasses mere capability, encompassing intent. While Gabriel carries divine communication and Raphael provides restoration, Michael offers defense and impartial judgment. He serves as the supreme protector, the warrior whose strength equals only his mercy. The capacities of a heavenly prince surpass mortal comprehension. Michael traverses alternate planes instantaneously, occupies several positions simultaneously, and perceives enormous expanses of both time and space. His perception operates unrestricted by material constraints. He discerns the genuine core of all entities, perceiving beneath exteriors to the actuality within. Michael's utterance carries unparalleled significance. When he communicates, the universe itself attends. Mountains could quake, oceans could separate, or tempests could cease at his utterance. This represents not sorcery, but the natural reaction of creation to one positioned so intimately with its beginning. The elements themselves acknowledge his dominion and conform. His most identifiable emblem, the burning blade, carries implications beyond mere weaponry. It symbolizes celestial fairness, severing falsehood to uncover reality, isolating illumination from shadow. The blaze doesn't merely eliminate, it purifies. When Michael raises his blade, the objective remains restoration of stability and defense of the innocent, not primarily retribution. In contrast to beings experiencing restricted lifespans in confined locations, Michael persists in endless presence. Yesterday, now, and tomorrow remain simultaneously accessible to his comprehension. He recognizes the expansive movements of history and comprehends how minute occurrences can generate tremendous effects through duration. This perception accords him comprehension beyond mortal capacity. Though all celestial beings radiate divine illumination, Michael emanates with particular brilliance. Multitudes describing encounters with him recount being nearly overwhelmed by his splendor. This radiance extends further than mere appearance, encompassing mental and devotional influence also, transmitting clarity, confidence, and serenity to individuals experiencing it. Michael's nomenclature, meaning what God resembles, reveals his core identity. It functions as both an interrogative highlighting the singularity of creation and a recollection of Michael's position. He doesn't covet his personal magnificence, but channels a superior radiance. His capability originates not from himself exclusively, but from his absolute synchronization with celestial intention. Regardless of his extraordinary capability, Michael functions with notable delicacy when appropriate. He addresses human feelings without confusing them, materializes in configurations that don't elicit fright, and directs without coercing. Comparable to an accomplished performer capable of executing both thundering fortissimo and subtle pianissimo, Michael modulates his manifestation to match what circumstances demand. The association between heavenly princes and humans carries remarkable significance. Though vastly dissimilar in attributes and scope, both possess selection and the capacity for attachment. Michael regards humans not as inferior creatures, but as juvenile companions of nature, differing yet similarly treasured across creation's domain. In aged documents, Michael occasionally gets described as controlling the mechanisms to the chasm, retaining command over the most remote and shadowy positions in existence. This illustrates his function as a boundary maintainer, one safeguarding essential demarcations amongst levels of reality and protecting cosmic arrangement even amongst places of turbulence. Michael's command stretches to different heavenly beings as well. As commander of the heavenly multitude, he orchestrates their functions and assists in realizing their missions. Imagine him not as a strict warrior, but as an insightful administrator who brings forth the optimal qualities in his subordinates. His direction style emphasizes assistance, prioritizing, accomplishing advantage, instead of accumulating authority. Though humans track duration in moments and rotations, heavenly princes experience existence differently. To Michael, the surge and collapse of human societies may seem as fleeting blooms. However, he focuses consideration on these modest proceedings and also on personal human existences, identifying that each retains importance, surpassing its apparent proportions or span. The manuscript of Daniel, Michael's role as guardian of Israel. Throughout the periods of ancient Babylonian rule, when the descendants of Israel inhabited a land distant from their native region, a devout individual termed Daniel encountered extraordinary mystical experiences. These spiritual insights recorded in Daniel's account offer among our initial thorough depictions of Michael and his exclusive relationship with the nation of Judea. Daniel operated in the royal household of foreign rulers, preserving his religious dedication despite dwelling amongst alternative deities and traditions. His cleverness and ethical standing procured him authority and admiration, yet also provoked animosity among certain individuals. Throughout everything, he stayed faithful to his predecessor's God, praying consistently regardless of hazards this might generate. Once, subsequent to prolonged petition and self-denial, Daniel was granted a remarkable occurrence. Beside the great river, an entity from the divine realm showed itself to him, a figure radiating such intensity that individuals in proximity dispersed in alarm, though they could perceive nothing. This celestial guide conveyed that he had been attempting to reach Daniel for all those 3 weeks, yet had been blocked by a celestial power called the Monarch of Persia. "Nobody aids me against such opposition except Michael, your guardian," the emissary informed Daniel. This straightforward passage communicates considerable information regarding Michael's function. He stands specifically designated to safeguard Israel, combating unseen contests in their aid that mortals cannot perceive, yet certainly encounter the consequences of. Afterward, in his visions, Daniel acquired supplementary understanding regarding Michael. In section 12, the emissary discusses impending hardships. Throughout that time, Michael, the supreme commander protecting your people, shall move. There shall be a season of suffering, not previously experienced from human history until that moment. Yet at that time, your population, everyone whose existence is documented in the ledger, shall find liberation. These chapters illustrate Michael as a guardian, fighting perpetual, unseen conflict. The monarch of Persia referenced is not a temporal authority, but a celestial influence somehow connected with that empire. Comparably, we subsequently encounter the monarch of Greece. That such beings appear to signify celestial forces influencing those kingdoms, capabilities that might regulate human circumstances and fates. Michael stands in opposition to these energies, guaranteeing that divine objectives for Judea persist despite opposition. When Daniel implores, his communications generate consequences beyond the material plane, activating effects and counter-effects in domains beyond sight. Michael guarantees these communications reach the throne and aids in acquiring their answer. The primitive Hebrews didn't perceive background as purely arbitrary human conduct. They comprehended that unseen happenings supported apparent occurrences, celestial forces functioning toward advantage or destruction. Throughout this framework, Michael functions as Israel's protector and intermediary in Paradise's chambers. Comparable to how a realm's representative might defend its interests, Daniel's mystical experiences connect Michael specifically to conclusion, period happenings, and bodily resurrection. Throughout that time, Michael, the supreme commander protecting your people, shall move, the passage expresses, connecting his enhanced function with moments of unprecedented hardship. This creates a design we shall encounter again in subsequent materials. Michael's exclusive association with final occasions when ages terminate and fresh eras commence. For the descendants of Abraham, these perspectives of Michael supplied reassurance during captivity. Though distant from residence and governed by a hostile authority, they were not overlooked or abandoned. A formidable guardian observed them, protecting their survival as inhabitants, despite initiatives to obliterate their distinctiveness and religious convictions. Daniel's writings represent a transition point in how celestial beings were comprehended. Earlier sacred documents reference angels, yet infrequently designate them or explain specific purposes. Daniel introduces us to designated angels possessing individual qualities and roles. Michael surfaced not as a theoretical entity, but as a particular individual with focused interests and duties. This personification of invisible forces mirrored changing requirements amongst the committed, inhabiting hostile lands, surrounded by magnificent houses of worship to international deities and seeing the capability of their occupiers. The descendants of Judea wanted certainty that their concealed deity remained mightier than obvious empires. Stories of Michael's conflicts in celestial realms supplied this certainty. For groups attempting to sustain their distinctive identification as descendants of Judea within a distant society, Michael symbolized divine opposition to assimilation. Identical to his function, opposing celestial commanders of different populations, the dedicated could reject impact to surrender their traditions and convictions. His illustration motivated bravery, confronting societal and devotional difficulties. The writings concerning Daniel additionally create Michael as an emblem of optimism throughout catastrophic moments. When situations appear bleakest, when customary methods prove ineffective, Michael stands prepared to take action. This representation of the celestial warrior, awakening to shield the dedicated, would move forward into subsequent customs, delivering encouragement during persecution and difficulty throughout the ages. The Book of Enoch, the Watchers, and the Nephilim. Deep within forgotten pages lies an archaic manuscript of enigmatic ancestry, the Enoch manuscript. Though excluded from the majority of modern scriptural compilations, this volume maintained considerable sway amongst initial communities of the faithful. Among its striking supernatural depictions, Michael occupies a principal role in one of the most remarkable accounts of celestial involvement. Enoch maintained a legendary standing, the individual who coexisted with divinity and vanished. In accordance with Genesis, he never underwent departure, yet was conveyed to the celestial kingdom. The Enoch manuscript broadens this passing allusion into complex sequences and expeditions through infinite domains, accompanied by celestial guides, explaining the workings of paradise and the material sphere. One section particularly captures attention, concerns entities called the Watchers, celestial servants, tasked with observation of humankind. In accordance with this historical chronicle, certain of these observers turned mesmerized by human females and executed a devastating resolution. Headed by an entity designated Azazel, 200 of these divine beings descended to the sacred summit, where they made an oath to pursue human partners and convey restricted wisdom. The joining of these fallen observers and human females generated extraordinary youngsters, the Nephilim. Characterized as enormous beings of extraordinary strength and yearning, these hybrid progeny immediately grew into a cause of damage and brutality. They consumed resources at extraordinary proportions, ultimately shifting to consuming humans when substitute nourishment grew inadequate. Their fathers, conversely, disclosed to people abilities that were destined to remain hidden. Stoneworking, cosmetic preparation, charms, and divinatory techniques amongst them. As ruin expanded across the planet, the celestial princes, including Michael, gazed downward with intensifying apprehension. The celestial order was experiencing corruption. Thresholds planned to distinguish distinct zones of creation had been surpassed, with calamitous results. The circumstance demanded intervention to reinstate stability. The residual obedient angels petitioned the Creator on humanity's side. The manuscript of Enoch documents their supplication. You perceive what Azazel has accomplished, how he has instructed complete wickedness throughout the planet and communicated the timeless mysteries residing in paradise. And the females have brought forth enormous beings, and the planet has grown saturated with gore and corruption. In reaction to this crisis, the Creator appointed the celestial princes with defined obligations to tackle distinct components of the ruin. To Michael descended probably the most significant duty, managing the defiant pioneer Azazel and his companions. The celestial directive was explicit: confine them for 70 ages in terrestrial basins until their concluding reckoning. Michael traversed the planet with divine authorization, discovering every traitor and declaring judgment. These entities, who had abandoned their appropriate stations, experienced repercussions surpassing comprehension. Michael imprisoned them with indestructible fetters in deep chambers distant from mortal consciousness, where they would persist until the concluding reckoning. For the Nephilim children, an alternative consequence loomed. Their corporeal systems would perish throughout the pending inundation, yet their elements, retaining angelic lineage, would persist on Earth as incorporeal essences. Particular stories connect these to the origins of what societies subsequently termed demons, disturbed essences confined amongst worlds. The Enoch manuscript portrays Michael as surpassing merely a combatant. He represented an implementer of renewal and remediation. His measures against the traitors weren't simply corrective, yet therapeutic, designed to eradicate corruption and permit recovery to commence. This continues one of Michael's persistent functions throughout customs, re-establishing celestial order in locations where it has deteriorated. Subsequent to immobilizing the disloyal observers, Michael accepted yet another obligation, readying for the tremendous cleansing that would purge the planet. And to Michael, the Creator instructed, communicate to Azazel and the associates with him what violation with the females occurred, that they shall terminate jointly with them in all their desecration. And when their descendants have obliterated each other, and they have comprehended the obliteration of their cherished, imprison them firmly for 70 ages in the basins of the planet. Though regarded as non-canonical by several present-day religious scholars, the Enoch narratives maintain substantial impact on preliminary interpretations of Michael. They positioned him as a protector, sustaining cosmic divisions, stopping chaos from conquering arrangement. This function, as guardian of fitting demarcation amongst worlds, would proceed in subsequent customs. The imagery inside this primordial story continues to resonate today. The Watchers symbolize the hazard of misapplied authority and knowledge. The Nephilim embody the grotesque consequences of breaking natural thresholds. Michael symbolizes the authority that recovers those divisions and applies effects to those intentionally upsetting cosmic equilibrium. For primitive audiences, these chronicles supplied explanations for the sources of degeneration and anguish while sustaining confidence in ultimate celestial impartiality. Michael's purpose confirmed them that corruption, despite its potency, stays passing. Irrespective of turbulence's appearance, celestial powers persist in re-establishing equilibrium and arrangement. The Book of Revelation, the ultimate confrontation in paradise. The closing manuscript of the Protestant scripture materializes comparable to a mystical sequence, packed with peculiar organisms, cryptic figures, and end-times depictions. Contained in its swirling visions, Michael surfaces at a vital juncture, directing the concluding celestial struggle, confronting powers of shadow. The manuscript of Revelation, composed throughout an age of mistreatment, offered preliminary adherence expectation that advantage would ultimately overcome wrongdoing, with Michael occupying a vital function in this vindication. John, the seer, registering these visions whilst isolated on the Isle of Patmos, documented encountering combat in paradise. This wasn't just any disagreement, yet the decisive fight separating Michael and his legions opposed the extraordinary serpent, recognized as that primordial reptile termed the adversary or the foe who directs all deception. The language duplicates the earlier uprising, yet implies development, a concluding confrontation rather than an initial one. Several investigators consider this as describing a similar occasion from a distinct standpoint. Different scholars interpret it as a secondary celestial combat, a concluding initiative by dim powers to restore what they forfeited throughout their preliminary descent from paradise. The monster and his legions returned with opposition, John documents, yet lacked the capability, and they no longer remained within the divine realm. In this, we see Michael's armies ultimately victorious, pushing the adversary not just from one position, yet from the celestial kingdom wholly. The tremendous monster was cast downward. That primordial serpent, called the opposition, or the foe, who directs all deception. He was expelled to the planet, and his supporters along with him. This conquest starts tremendous happiness in paradise. Currently have appeared the deliverance and the capability and the realm of our Creator and the authority of his Christ. For the adversary of our companions, who indicts them before our Creator throughout all moments, has been expelled downward. The language brims with profundity. The monster symbolizes not simply corruption, yet coordinated opposition to celestial intentions. Possessing multiple crowns and tentacles, it suggests nations and governmental systems placing themselves contrary to accuracy and morality. Its tail, clearing a portion of the celebrities from the heavens, mirrors the preliminary celestial uprising, drawing multitudes of celestial beings toward shadow. Michael, in opposition, embodies constant assistance and fair dominion. He struggles not for individual advantage, yet to sustain celestial arrangement. His conquest emerges not through deception or scheming, yet through unwavering devotion to accuracy. For preliminary adherents experiencing mistreatment underneath imperial control, this representation of Michael surmounting apparently undefeatable obstacles supplied profound comfort. The contest's significance expands universally. Subsequent to Michael's expulsion of the monster, paradise achieves purity from opposition and discord. Yet, this conquest generates fresh perils for mortals. Affliction to the planet and seas, because the adversary has moved to you. He is burning with hatred, because he comprehends that his duration grows brief. This statement proposes that supernatural battles influence human circumstances. When shadow retreats in a single zone, it typically raises energy in alternative spaces. Michael's conquest in paradise suggests increased difficulties on the planet, at least momentarily. The foe, comprehending its duration approaches, grows more frantic and harmful. The serpentine being requires investigation. Antiquated Near Eastern societies frequently displayed chaos and corruption as serpentine or serpent-resembling beings. By designating Satan as simultaneously reptile and serpent, Revelation connects him to primordial chaos, the opposing force to celestial creative harmony. Michael's conquering hence characterizes creation's advantage over chaos, illumination's domination over shadow. For spectators conversant with prior customs, the serpent representation held supplementary value. In Daniel's experiences, creatures representing kingdoms ascend from the chaos waters to suppress God's population. Through depicting Satan as a serpent with numerous crowns and tentacles, Revelation implies that tyrannical systems ultimately derive their capability from unseen corruption. The moment of this celestial dispute merits investigation. It doesn't happen at the inception or terminus of Revelation's narrative, yet in the center, implying it as a critical transformation in the cosmic antagonism. Subsequent to Michael's conquest, occurrences on the planet quicken toward their finale. The serpent, expelled from paradise, tracks the female adorned with the solar radiance, typically comprehended as signifying God's population, yet neglects to obliterate her. Michael doesn't reappear explicitly in Revelation, yet his preliminary conquest structures the framework for everything that precedes. Without his triumphant protection of paradise, Earth's recovery couldn't advance. This establishes Michael at a vital location in the Recovery Chronicle, not as the prominent player, but as a vital assistance figure who makes the comprehensive chronicle feasible. For societies suffering persecution, this perspective of Michael's conquest delivered viewpoint. Their contemporary anguish wasn't the concluding message, yet a transient section in a bigger struggle traveling toward conclusive decision. If Michael could overcome the monster in celestial zones, certainly devoted humans might tolerate their current hardships, realizing conclusive advantage was promised. Revelation accordingly creates Michael as a character of finished time's expectation, one whose activities facilitate the manifestation of the updated paradise and innovated planetary existence, explained in the manuscript's remaining chapters. Though the trajectory toward that refreshed creation involves suffering, Michael's conquest provides assurance that shadow cannot finally triumph. Michael and Satan, the conflict over the body of Moses. Concealed inside the concise New Era missive of Jude resides a mysterious citation to an otherwise unrecorded meeting separating Michael and Satan. In merely a statement, this primordial material supplies a tantalizing window into cosmic disagreement concentrated upon an improbable subject: the remains of Moses, Israel's paramount lawmaker and spiritual guide. Yet even the celestial Prince Michael, Jude expresses, when he was struggling with the devil concerning the remains of Moses, did not himself endeavor to pass judgment him for blasphemy, yet voiced, "May the Lord censure you." This strange entry has captivated researchers for centuries, as it references an experience absent everywhere else in certified scripture. The tale seems to mention occasions following Moses' passing at the peaks of Nebo. In accordance with the law books, Moses departed within visual range of the territory destined for his individuals, and divine power individually interred him in an undisclosed location in the high country. His interment position persists unknown currently. The scriptural passage finishes, "Why would individuals compete for Moses' remains? Multitudinous customs present, conceivable explanations. Particular accounts propose Satan asserted entitlement to Moses' remains because Moses previously eliminated an Egyptian overseer ages past. Substitute perspectives propose that Satan desired to convert Moses' position into a location for idolatrous ceremonies. Comprehending the descendants of Judea could experience desire to venerate their appreciated guide. What makes this concise description particularly striking constitutes Michael's reaction to Satan. Rather than proclaiming his individual dominion or capability, Michael simply announces, "May the Lord censure you." This exhibits remarkable restraint from one directing Paradise's fighters. Even when confronting his primordial adversary, Michael reverts to superior dominion as opposed to asserting the entitlement to pass judgment himself. This reaction illuminates something significant regarding Michael's temperament. Irrespective of his extraordinary capability and exalted standing, he persists in humility throughout his duties. He doesn't surpass the limits or petition authority not explicitly given. Even in battling wrongdoing immediately, he operates as a representative, implementing delegated duties, not as a self-directed authority. Jude implements this account to generate a focus regarding human activity. He contrasts Michael's temperance with the conceit of specific, inaccurate educators who disparage celestial entities with carelessness. If perhaps the powerful celestial champion practiced such deliberate deference to suitable dominion, what amount should mortals practice thoughtfulness throughout religious concerns? The disagreement regarding Moses maintains symbolic significance, surpassing the immediate storyline. Moses embodied the customs, the earlier alliance amongst divinity and Israel. His departure indicated a crossing time separating periods, the finale of nomadic survival, plus the commencement of settlement in the territory. Possibly the battle regarding his remains symbolizes stronger struggles concerning inheritance and changeover. Specific researchers believe Jude drew this account from a currently vanished composition named The Ascension of Moses, which presumably encompassed extended stories regarding Moses's passing and progression past demise. This suggests the narrative possessed recognition amongst preliminary and scriptural societies, despite its non-appearance in certified documents. Whatsoever its derivation, this quick perspective of Michael and Satan in immediate opposition demonstrates their perpetual antagonism, continuing substantially post the preliminary celestial engagement. Their disagreement didn't terminate subsequent to Satan's expulsion from paradise, yet prolongs through eras, typically concentrating on instants of progression and change. The depiction of these formidable entities contending regarding a mortal form, despite one as considerable as Moses, conveys the importance positioned on human life and customs. It recommends that what transpires in the tangible globe influences cosmic zones, that substance reality isn't independent of, yet tightly joined with cosmic intentions. Michael's restraint throughout this contact created a design impacting theological approaches to cosmic opposition. Multitudinous customs of imploring contrary to corruption implement Michael's instance, employing expressions comparable to the Lord, censure you, as opposed to creating individual statements of individual dominion across spiritual powers. This mirroring the comprehension that entities paralleling angels operate optimally when acknowledging suitable roots of dominion. The positioning of this disagreement, possibly close to Moses's entombment position, supplements an extra stratum of interpretation. Margins and thresholds frequently function as positions of religious meaning, positions where disparate zones or circumstances converge. Moses perished at the barrier of the destined territory amongst the aged presence of nomadic survival, plus the updated presence of settlement. These crossing positions characteristically draw both pious plus wicked focus. The closing consequence of this disagreement remains not explicitly described in Jude's concise reference, yet the framework intimates that Michael triumphed. Moses' place of rest persisted in concealment, avoiding both the degeneration Satan possibly could have fostered, plus safeguarding the guide's inheritance as lawmaker instead of subject of adoration. For preliminary believers suffering persecution plus erroneous instruction, this chronicle supplied both notification plus encouragement. It notified regarding spiritual overconfidence plus self-importance, meanwhile, promoting confidence that corruption wouldn't possess the conclusive statement. If Michael shielded Moses' legacy through celestial authorization, without question, divinity would similarly sustain the accuracy of the gospel via current obstacles. Michael. Throughout religions, Jewish, Christian, and Islamic depictions, throughout three prominent Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, plus Islam, the figure of Michael emerges plus re-emits, his representation shifting delicately, comparable to brightness via distinct panes. Every custom stresses particular components of his composition meanwhile, sustaining his fundamental identification as a mighty celestial servant operating for divine intentions. This distributed acknowledgement throughout consequently divergent faiths communicates to Michael's significant value in spiritual imagination. Throughout Jewish custom, Michael persists as Israel's particular guardian plus attorney. The primordial scholars conveyed that whereas different countries got various celestial guardians, the descendants of Abraham experienced surveillance from the greatest, Michael personally. When Egypt's celestial agent declined, when Babylon's celebrity weakened, Michael persistent in his consideration for the descendants of Abraham. The Talmudic writings plus Midrashim broaden the scriptural citations of Michael, illustrating him as the high cleric providing ceremonies in the paradise sanctuary. A gorgeous custom transmits that Michael structures the upright beings into precious items for the celestial visibility. A substitute calls him as the celestial guide who prevented Abraham's sacrifice of Isaac, who routed the descendants of Judea via the lifeless region as a column of illumination, plus who guarded Daniel inside the creature enclosure. Jewish esoteric customs, particularly Kabbalah, affiliate Michael plus the element of liquid plus with benevolence. He maintains position at the authority of the celestial position, symbolizing gentleness plus generosity inside the cosmic harmony. His celestial match constitutes Gabriel, who symbolizes evaluation plus gets linked with blazing. Jointly, they sustain stability in existence. Christianity inherited multitudinous Jewish knowledges of Michael, meanwhile introducing fresh elements. Preliminary Christian authors broadened his function beyond protecting Israel to defending all adherents. The manuscript of Revelation's portrayal of Michael directing Paradise's fighters opposed the serpent grew especially impactful, establishing him as the chief opponent of Satan plus negative entities. Throughout medieval periods, Christian commitment to Michael had flourished wholly. He was appreciated as the entity of passing who kindly conducted ethical beings to paradise. Multitudinous perspectives plus looks got connected to him, typically upon mountaintops plus elevated positions. Mont St. Michel in France plus Monte Gargano in Italy grew into significant pilgrimage destinations subsequent to supposed looks of the celestial warrior. Christian illustration characteristically illustrates Michael in combatant gear, typically counterbalancing beings with mechanisms or conquering a serpent underfoot. He materializes in limitless cathedral frescoes, cathedral window panes, plus decorations throughout Europe. His ceremony dates September 29th. Michael grew to be a significant date inside the Christian schedule, denoting the commencement of gathering period plus the darkening of the duration. Throughout Islamic custom, Michael, termed Michael, maintains a position amongst the prominent celestial beings. The Islamic scripture designates him jointly with Gabriel as one of the primary transmitters of divine wisdom. Whereas Gabriel communicates divine disclosures, Michael gets tasked with giving nourishment to each tangible plus spiritual requirements. Mohammedan custom contains that Michael carries magnificent appendages, the pigmentation of precious emerald plus, that his form obtains decorated with golden coloring. All individual hair includes countless visages that repeatedly honor the Creator inside disparate expressions. Comparable to his depiction in supplementary faiths, Islamic Michael weeps for human transgressions plus advocates for adherence. Whereas certain specifics change, definite properties of Michael persist comparable via all three customs. He gets invariably portrayed as steadfast, capable, plus kind-hearted. He functions without pursuing his individual magnificence, plus keeps complete synchronization with celestial intention. He operates as a protector of the devoted, plus an foe of shadow in all its forms. This remarkable harmony across substantially dissimilar spiritual customs implies something critical regarding Michael's fascination. He symbolizes the conviction that cosmic powers ultimately favor impartiality plus excellence, that the cosmos isn't morally indifferent, yet energetically assists morality. Throughout intervals of dominance or hazard, such certainty brings tremendous serenity. For supporters of all trio customs coexisting throughout medieval Spain, the distributed honor of Michael at times delivered an unusual connection. Stories, plus depictions of the celestial warrior, circulated amongst societies, meanwhile enriching every collection's comprehension. Christian houses of worship constructed on positions of preceding places of congregation sometimes keep the commitment to Michael as a gesture of heritage. The distributed acknowledgement of Michael throughout these customs serves as a species of frequent terminology via faiths, a persona recognized plus respected by individuals who might else discover little familiar soil. In our separated civilization, such distributed symbolism maintains specific importance, reminding us of our distributed humanity plus faith customs. Michael accordingly functions as a variety of universal communication across convictions, a character honored by inhabitants who might otherwise get minimal typical soil. The heavenly guardian, Michael's ascendants in Christian devotion. Throughout the initial spiritual association dispersed via Europe plus the Mediterranean regions, commitment to Michael prospered in extraordinary techniques. Emerging from unassuming origins, elaborate houses of worship, grand basilicas, plus extensive folk honor changed the celestial combatant from a scriptural character into a cherished guardian whose protection was requested throughout countless parts of ordinary presence. The earliest identified house of worship to Michael originates to the 4th era, constructed at Cheratopa near Constantinople. This humble foundation soon converted to grander buildings as honor of the celestial warrior increased. Via the 5th era, houses of worship assigned to Michael materialized via the Byzantine realm, typically erected on elevated positions, showing his supernatural character. An important occurrence in the elevation of Michael's honor occurred throughout the period of Emperor Constantine. In accordance with heritage, Constantine attributed a considerable conquest to Michael's involvement, plus consequently erected a magnificent sanctuary termed the Michaelian. This sovereign acknowledgement raised Michael's standing via the spiritual globe. In contrast to multitudinous believer martyrs who commenced as provincial characters ahead of gaining extensive acknowledgement, Michael's honor dispersed swiftly via varied zones. Originating in Syria to the region of Britain, originating Egypt to territories, sanctuaries plus shrines carrying his designation arose, typically substituting positions previously assigned to non-Christian religions connected with physical recovery or safety. This substitution was rarely coincidental. Multitudinous of Michael's primordial sanctuaries got positioned at positions previously holy to beings of combat, recovery, or the existence following demise. In the administrative center, the immense Castello di Sant'Angelo got initially constructed as ruler Hadrian's residence. However, subsequently got rededicated to Michael, subsequent a perspective throughout a pandemic. This pattern of sacred substitution aided facilitate the conversion via non-Christian practices to Christianity via Europe. Michael's charm traversed societal divisions with spectacular simplicity. Rulers plus sovereigns demanded his safety for their lands, committing houses of worship, plus positioning his depiction upon cash, plus royal standards. Warriors asked him prior to engagement, perceiving in him the excellent merger of capability plus righteousness. Typical inhabitants appealed to him for safety versus gales, sickness, plus supernatural hazards. This broad magnetism demonstrated Michael's adaptable character. Whereas mainly recognized as a fighter, he acquired comparable honor as a physician, guide of beings, plus evaluator of moral significance. This adaptability permitted varied societies to emphasize elements of Michael that connected with their unique desires, plus principles. The 7th era marked a crucial instant in Michael's honor via Holy Father Gregory I's promotion of celestial honor, particularly Michael's. Pursuing a devastating plague, Gregory conveyed observing Michael placing his implement back inside its holder above Hadrian's location, an indication the retribution had ceased. This perspective solidified Michael's relationship to Rome, plus boosted him beyond in Western Christianity. Throughout feudal civilization progressed via medieval Europe, Michael's depiction changed to echo contemporary principles of chivalric valor plus gallantry. He evolved into the excellent divine warrior, capable yet forgiving, mighty in combat yet modest previous to superior dominion. His depiction inside creativity transformed via the Byzantine official to the protected fighter, showing altering societal buildings plus principles. Via the 10th era, Michael had turned into among the preferred believers via Europe. His ceremony date, September 29th, Michael designated a significant crossroads inside the farming duration, the instant of gatherings finale plus winter's method. Societies celebrated via dining plus customs that incorporated spiritual honor plus environmental traditions. Expedition paths advanced, roughly significant Michael houses of worship, generating systems of honor via the environment. The greatest of these, Mont St. Michel inside France, evolved to one of medieval Europe's greatest expedition positions. Erected upon a tidal zone that appears to float, separating oceanic plus supernatural territory throughout great tides, its position excellently embodied Michael's character as a presence separating celestial plus planetary zones. Reduced, recognized, yet similarly impressive, the house of worship at Monte Sant'Angelo in southern Italy asserted exclusive ranking, grounded inside the conviction that Michael independently had committed the location. A stone sanctuary, instead of a climbing basilica, it portrayed an substitute component of Michael, not the celestial fighter, yet the cryptic visibility inside spiritual shadow. Militant associations plus commercial communities via Europe selected Michael as their guardian. The military forces of the Feather inside Spain, established via the 13th era, obtained their identifier from Michael's appendages, plus committed themselves to chivalric principles underneath his safety. Throughout the region of English natives, mariners, bread-makers, merchants, plus quantities of supplementary organizations positioned themselves underneath his watchful protection. Throughout his function as protector of tall positions, Michael's sanctuaries frequently topped mountains, plus elevated areas via Europe. Germany exclusively possessed hundreds of Michael's mountains, every denoted via a temple or sanctuary assigned to the celestial warrior. These elevated houses of worship served both sensible plus emblematic objectives, clear landmarks for itineraries, plus spiritual indications of the relationship separating paradise plus the planetary realm. The dissemination of Michael's honor produced a distributed cultural expression via medieval Europe. An explorer originating Ireland might explore a Michael house of worship inside Italia, plus identify recognizable depiction, plus stories in spite of distinctions inside expression, plus neighborhood traditions. This distributed dedication aided stitch jointly the varied zones of Christianity via distributed spiritual landmarks. The wonders of street. Michael, legendary accounts plus stories, spanning epochs plus zones, communications of Michael's wondrous involvements have dispersed comparable to tender intonations moving via wind. Beginning via impressive combat looks to discrete individual recuperations, these accounts distribute typical elements. Celestial support, arriving at occasions of greatest requirement, typically via techniques that create astonishment instead of dread. Potentially the best-known miracle connected to Michael happened at Monte Gargano, inside Italia, close to the duration of 490. A prosperous property custodian termed Gargano displaced a treasured beast, which he ultimately discovered kneeling at the opening to an opening. Bothered, he projected a lance at the creature, yet via peculiar chance, the lance converted mid-atmosphere plus struck him as an alternative. Perplexed via this odd happening, Gargano requested the neighborhood cleric, who instructed a few moments of supplication plus self-denial. Throughout this interval, Michael displayed itself to the cleric inside a nighttime perspective, conveying that the opening stayed underneath his guardianship plus ought to persist as a house of worship. "I represent the celestial Prince Michael," he proclaimed, "plus I persist consistently inside the attendance of divinity. The opening stays holy to me. I possess selected to safeguard this location plus its population. Via examination, the opening surfaced as obviously temple-resembling plus held a fountain of recovery liquid emanating via rock. Believers quickly documented recuperations via miscellaneous sicknesses following checking out or ingesting via the fountain. The sanctuary promptly turned into a considerable expedition position, drawing guests originating via the spiritual globe. The establishment of Mont Street, Michel inside France, communicates a related account of divine instruction. Throughout the start of the 8th era, religious scholar Aubert of Avenches got a perspective of Michael that instructed him to erect a house of worship via a tidal zone, afterwards termed Mont Street. Michel. When Aubert hesitated, Michael materialized once more, this event contacting the cleric's intelligence, utilizing his finger to emphasize the gravity of the petition. Custom declares that Aubert awakened via a perforation inside his intellect, precisely where Michael had affected him, a level so accurate it might just result via supernatural derivation. Propelled via this striking indication, the cleric initiated building of what might develop into among Christianity's greatest impressive places of worship. The knowledge of Street, Aubert, maintained as a revered object, certainly exhibits a peculiar rounded perforation that physician specialists have battled to clarify naturally. Throughout the 150 rotations antagonism, the look of Michael supposedly motivated Joan of the Bend to grasp instruments in protection of France. The youthful farm female declared that Michael, jointly with believers, Catherine plus Margaret, encouraged her to push the English via French territory, plus confirm the suitable ruler got positioned. Her surprising fighting achievements connected to Michael's instruction transformed the direction of the engagement plus planet's background. Michael's combat looks surpassed Joan's circumstance. Throughout Rome's pandemic of 590, Pope Gregory the Greater reportedly observed Michael above Hadrian's construction, placing his implement as a signal that the outbreak would terminate. The perspective confirmed, correct. Plus, in appreciation, the building got redesignated Castello di Sant'Angelo, Building of the Sacred Angel, a designation it maintains currently. Definitely not all Michael's wonders concerned important planet-wide occasions. Infinitely individual communications recount safety throughout nautical gales, instruction while being lost inside forests or mountains, plus recovery via miscellaneous illnesses. These calmer wonders typically required a feeling of tranquil visibility instead of striking perspectives, a unexpected knowledge of which route to pursue, and surprising calm throughout hazard, or capability, surpassing one's typical capability. One recurring miracle sought entails Michael designating picked positions for his honor. Inside locations as varied as Iberian Peninsula, Hellenic lands, plus Ethiopian region, parallel communications recount unknown footsteps surfacing inside rock, supposedly remaining via the celestial warrior to mark holy ground. These stamps developed into sites of neighborhood expeditions, plus recovery characteristics connected to liquid that accumulated inside these cracks. Michael's relationship plus recovery liquids materializes persistently via Europe plus the Near East. Fountains nearby, his houses of worship got imagined to recover anything via lack of sight plus inability to produce offspring. Indifference to a few believers connected to unique sicknesses, Michael got appreciated as a comprehensive physician, equipped to manage any tangible or psychic difficulty via his intimate relationship to celestial capability. Multitudinous Michael wonders entail illumination, looks encircled via blinding brightness, cryptic illuminations of houses of worship throughout gloomy evenings, plus unforeseen illuminations perceived suspended over devoted sanctuaries. These phenomena illustrate his character as a creature of natural illumination whose core substance eliminates shadow inside its entirety. Young persons show noticeably inside Michael Marvel communications, and recurring story mentions young persons trapped via mounting tides at Mont Street, Michel rescued as Michael generates an transitory course via the liquids. A substitute repeated topic includes young persons that slip via fantastic spans at Michael, houses of worship discovered unharmed because of something individuals characterize as unseen appendages panning them mid-fall. Combatants via background have documented observing Michael previously, plus throughout fight, typically illustrating him as commanding a light-colored steed, plus transporting a brilliant standard. Conflict members declared his look throughout significant encirclements, whereas Byzantine combatants referenced him with transforming countless invasions. These communications regularly illustrate definitely not just graphical perspectives, yet perceptible effects. Unexpected force aiding sympathetic projections, surprising haze concealing unit motions, or inexplicable anxiety distributing via opponent forces. An especially persistent miracle consists of sanctuary chiming ringing, devoid of individual involvement regarding Michael's ceremony date, plus throughout periods of neighborhood crisis. Originating diminutive hamlet temples to prominent basilicas, these autonomous soundings got deciphered as Michael's technique of asking the devoted to petition, plus cautioning of imminent hazard. The sensation obtained so connected to the celestial warrior that the title Michael's Song entered folk expressions inside a quantity of European zones. These marvel communications, perhaps traditionally confirmed plus possibly legendary, convey significantly concerning what groups comprehended Michael via various periods. He materializes as an engaged, concerned protector as opposed to an isolated celestial observer, a creature authentically interested in individual prosperity, plus prepared to get active as required, plus whenever celestial functions mandate safety. The blade of Michael, divine armament plus emblem, remaining inside the peaceful moments inside primordial communications, we discover reference to a distinctive piece of equipment. Michael's burning blade glimmers via duration, grasping illumination in both paradise plus the planetary realm. This blade represents not merely an apparatus for fight, it maintains greater implication. The manuscript of Genesis initially indicates a glowing blade. Soon after Adam plus Eve separated, originating Eden, celestial protectors carrying burning blades maintained custody of the root returning. Though not designated immediately, multitudinous hold that Michael managed one such blade, maintaining custody at the gates of the blissful garden. Afterward, communications illustrate a clearer depiction. Throughout the manuscript of Revelation, Michael commands Paradise's military via a blade that glows via celestial brightness. This constitutes not a conventional implement, yet one created via holy illumination composed to sever via shadow plus degeneration. The blade materializes repeatedly inside the accounts of the descended beings. Once Michael experienced those that pivoted originating paradise, his implement got the apparatus of celestial purpose. Via all movement, it divided advantage originating corruption, reality originating falsehood. Particular manuscripts illustrate what the blade could modify its dimension. At occasions diminutive, comparable to a brief implement, different moments, expansive, comparable to atmospheric lightning throughout the atmosphere. Jewish mystics document of Michael's blade getting documented via confidential designations of the Creator. These holy phrases offer the piece of equipment its capability to defeat corruption that absolutely nothing else might impact. Throughout these customs, the blade functions simultaneously as implement plus emblem, dividing spiritual shadow as soon as mere tangible capability might neglect. Via eras, visual artists have displayed Michael's blade inside disparate techniques. At occasions, it constitutes simply illumination devoid of substance. Different instances, it materializes comparable to a golden tool plus illumination operating via its perimeter. Throughout numerous artworks, the blade indicates down toward a monster or reptile, demonstrating advantage over corruption. Beyond its function throughout battle, the blade symbolizes impartiality. Identical to an arbiter's judgment distinguishes separating authority plus improper, Michael's blade distinguishes separating illumination originating shadow. This interpretation materializes inside courthouse decorations plus locations Michael maintains via blade, plus mechanisms, counterbalancing folks even ready to use celestial judgment. The flames of the blade maintains distinctive interpretation as well. Illumination purges, eliminating what remains imperfect. Michael's burning blade consequently symbolizes not merely consequence, yet purifying, eliminating corruption to reclaim excellence. Via this technique, perhaps its damage supports recovery. Throughout medieval period, combatants implored to Michael preceding engagement, asking for perhaps a touch of his blade's capability inside their individual tools. Builders would at times etch Michael via swords plus protective gear, wanting for a portion of the celestial warrior's capability plus safety. Throughout dreams, we perhaps imagine this divine implement, definitely not comparable to something frightening, yet comparable to a tender illumination, maintaining custody via the evening. The blade of Michael maintains vigilance, a brilliance of safety directing beings via shadow. Michael's representation, mechanisms plus safeguard. Beyond his mighty blade, Michael transports supplementary symbolization that communicates his narrative. Every contains developed wealthier inside significance as societies have transmitted them via imagination plus supplication. The mechanisms inside Michael's appendages communicate regarding harmony plus impartiality. Throughout multitudinous depictions, he counterbalances souls via their passage beyond lifestyle. This emblem wasn't perpetually Michael's. This originated alongside Egyptian beings that gauged centers contrary to a feather of accuracy. Though over duration, the responsibility of counterbalancing what's equitable got presented to Paradise's prince. These machines present Michael's function via the existence subsequently passing. Accounts communicate the way he maintains position at a border of beings, gently positioning every existence's price inside the harmony. Not to judge harshly, yet to view plainly what every existence has changed. In distinction to mankind's courts that could miss concealed goodness, Michael's mechanisms identify the smallest magnificence submerged inside a consciousness. His shining protection transmits a substitute account. In difference to the tender fabrics of messenger beings, Michael carries the outfit of a protector. His protective plate guards contrary to shadow, though his helm maintains his target intelligible throughout the midst of fighting. Historic communications communicate that his outfit cannot acquire torn via any planetary instrument, simply created inside Paradise, simply harmed via Paradise's purpose. Visual artists spanning ages have demonstrated this outfit inside countless techniques. Byzantine mosaics clothe him inside Roman commanders' attire via precious metal platelets. Medieval depictions demonstrate mail worthy of a sovereign's supporter. Renaissance compositions covered him inside metal that appears to shine via inside. Yet all communicate a standard. The outfit doesn't ever overwhelm him, yet appears light comparable to his appendages. The section Michael maintains carries exclusive designations. A few demonstrated decorated plus a cross, additional ones utilizing the Latin expression quis dias. What being continues comparable to the Creator? This query-converted phrase mirrors Michael's extremely designation that inquires the equivalent inside Hebrew. His section refuses to simply prevent strikes, yet mirrors accuracy regarding individuals that might oppose Paradise. Pigmentation performs their component inside Michael's depiction. Likewise, reddish looks inside his outfits, remembering equally illumination plus fluid, definitely not via brutality, yet via presence plus temperature. Bluish encompasses his shoulders inside a few symbols, demonstrating his supernatural character. Precious metal outlines his outfit plus implements, showing celestial attendants interacting with every component. Throughout houses of worship assigned to Michael, these depictions materialize inside rock plus window panes. Daylight via decorated panes, projects pigmented illumination via floors, letting guests temporarily persist inside the splendor of supernatural pigments. Sculptures present the mechanisms inclined marginally, the outfit accommodated perfectly, producing a feeling of preparation joined via perfect serenity. Particular insignificant representations materialize inside primordial materials. A palm-shaped division at times continues neighboring Michael, presenting tranquility that adheres his victories. Mechanisms at times suspend originating his waistband, mechanisms to Paradise's portals or via the fetters that restrain corruption. A vibrating device might pause close by, prepared to produce the appeal that finishes planetary duration. Michael's depiction communicates a word's deeper plus expressions. It explains a being that resists never originating wrath, yet originating devotion plus arrangement excellence. His implements guard instead of annihilate. His outfit shields instead of frightens. His mechanisms counterbalance plus mercy, definitely not judgment. Throughout the expanding shadow, these primordial representations offer convenience. The mechanisms guarantee impartiality past human courts. The outfit maintains custody as we rest. Throughout the tender shadow, Michael's representations remind everybody that safety observes via the cosmos. Michael plus Lucifer, resemblances plus distinctions. Two brilliant beings, a couple of varied courses. Michael plus Lucifer commenced via the matching celestial illumination. Still, their communications couldn't have converted additional opposed. His communication supplies one among the greatest distinctions inside spiritual communications. Throughout the commencement, every had ranking amongst Paradise's greatest commanders. Specific compositions propose they paralleled inside magnificence, comprehension, plus capability. Both understood the attendance of divinity. Every participated via the celestial chorus. Every comprehended Paradise's profundest mysteries. Similar to companions reared inside the matching residence, they transmitted a connection few additional might comprehend. Yet something modified inside this excellent harmony. Precisely where Michael discovered pleasure plus duties, the opposing entity commenced questioning. Precisely where Michael bowed, the opposite stands upright. Precisely where Michael acknowledged celestial puzzle, the opposite wanted reactions. A couple of courses unlocked previously them, one of quiet duties, an alternative of bold uprising. The instant of selection emerged, despite communications vary concerning what stimulated it. Particular accounts communicate the deity requested the beings to bow, previous to recently produced humanity, creatures of soil that might somehow transport celestial inhale. Michael kneeled devoid of inquiry. Lucifer declined, unwilling to function underneath individuals he perceived as reduced beings. Different communications explain that Paradise arranged to put a distinction plus the opposing entity, attractive solar occurrence, couldn't carry observing an additional shine him. Irrespective of the explanation, the division damaged Paradise collectively. Beings selected positions, fighting positions constructed via the excellent domain. Michael's commitment never fluctuated. He couldn't battle originating thoughtless obedience, yet originating deep recognition. His designation itself positions the concern, not a single insurgent might response. What creature parallels divinity? Inside this concern persists the essence of his distinction. Michael welcomed that nothing compares to celestial knowledge, whereas the opposite thought his personal judgment might competing Paradise's intention, the battle that performed molded creation by itself. Michael, the unassuming supporter, acquired arms exclusively as concord disappointed. The opposite that yearned magnificence discovered solely infamy. Michael battled to restore arrangement. The opposite, to generate fresh arrangement alongside himself as its limitation, Michael maintained. The opposite ruined. Michael recovered Paradise's damages. The opposite nurtured limitless resentments. His diverging natures materialize inside what they focus on regarding humanity. Michael voices instruction, safeguards the pure, plus maintains individual selections. The opposite attracts, condemns, plus attempts to manage souls. Michael desires humanity to rise. The opposite desires them to descend. Michael keeps what folks might grow to be. The opposite concentrates regarding their vulnerabilities. Throughout representation, the distinction seems strikingly. Michael maintains inside illumination, his appearance peaceful plus decided. The opposite remains inside shadow, his characteristics warped via wrath. Michael's appendages extend extensive plus whitish. The opposites suspend destroyed plus morph to leather-resembling tissues. Michael's orbs demonstrate caring despite fighting. The opposites blaze plus unending envy. Their persistent strife performs itself out, definitely not purely inside cosmic confrontations, yet inside every consciousness. All selection, separating pride plus duties, separating private intention plus bigger excellence, reverberates his primordial partition. Though universes separated currently, they persist forever tied like opposites, training via distinction what neither might teach separately. Throughout our sleep, this primordial communications provides its knowledge. A couple of courses consistently remain previously us, unassuming capability or pleased powerlessness. Perhaps within our reveries, we might think regarding what celestial warrior we adhere as morning comes. The function of Michael inside, celestial fighting, prayers plus banishment methods. As shadow appears excessively effective, multitudinous voices spanning duration have requested a solitary designation, Michael. His function inside spiritual fights provides convenience to individuals that experience encircled via powers they cannot observe, plus contact. Originating primordial pleas to existing techniques, his relief continues requested opposed to presence's concealed opponents. The greatest recognized plea to Michael originates via Pope Leo III inside 1886. Throughout the history, the Holy Father got a concerning perspective throughout Mass. Dim powers, accumulating capability opposed to the congregation. Shaken, he documented terms that multitudes possess, talked subsequently. Street, Michael, the celestial prince, safeguard myself inside contest, stay my safety opposed to the immorality plus snares of the opposition. This plea distributed quickly via houses of worship plus dwellings. Guardians educated young persons to whisper it prior to rest. Spiritual leaders communicated this subsequent offerings. Also now, multitudinous articulate these terms as sensing spiritually threatened, discovering conciliation inside, requesting paradise's protector. Michael's relationship to banishment techniques operates profoundly inside multitudinous customs. As experiencing powers that appear past human capability, his designation regularly directs the pleas of individuals supporting the suffering. In distinction to supplementary beings, Michael gets requested definitely not merely to provide convenience, yet to aggressively oppose what originates harm. Followers additionally acknowledge Michael's protective capability. That Torah container positioned inside doorposts frequently includes his designation jointly with designations of supplementary guardian beings. Via this technique, he observes borders plus positions where external powers might get entry inside and residence. Specific primordial talismans displayed his imagery as a section opposed to damaging spirits. Preliminary believers positioned unique confidence inside Michael throughout intervals of subjugation. As experiencing tangible risks via their religion, they might plead for Michael's bravery plus safety. Diminutive representations of the celestial warrior got conveyed for convenience, a reminder that celestial capability maintained them in spite of planetary weakness. Medieval warriors plus swordsmen selected Michael as their patron. Preceding battle, they might supplicate for the capability of Michael's limb, thinking the celestial warrior comprehended his risky appeal. Houses of worship constructed nearby combat positions regularly got devoted to him, producing holy room plus locations plus violence had happened. Throughout Orthodox customs, Michael materializes inside the pleas for the perishing. His capabilities as director of beings creates him a characteristic manual via existence's remaining passage. Groupings collect to request that he assist his cherished past passings perimeter, putting his peaceful capability throughout delicate instance. Farm societies formally possessed exclusive relationship to Michael as collect protector. His ceremony date regarding September 29th happens throughout acquiring duration inside multitudinous zones. Cultivators might request his advantage regarding grounds plus survival materials, observing him as guardian opposed to something from both regular tragedy plus concealed harm to treasured supplies. Existing religious customs continue incorporating Michael's assistance. Certain visualize his bluish illumination plus protective attendance throughout reflection. Additional preserve his portrayal close by throughout demanding periods. Psychological specialists at times locate consumers spontaneously discussing Michael throughout, healing originating trauma, illustrating defensive reveries, plus a capable character remains guardian. What generates Michael distinctive inside spiritual fights remains his match technique. Indifference to powers that oppose darkness, utilizing darkness, Michael battles shadow, devoid of converting shadow by himself. His capability continues grounded inside devotion plus assistance. He battles definitely not originating wrath, yet originating profound devotion to excellence. Throughout our respiration decelerates going to sleeping, we might acquire convenience via this primordial protector. Definitely not via dread from what exists inside shadow, yet via conviction that illumination persistently stands prepared to safeguard as requested. Michael's watchful attendance has maintained unlimited evenings spanning human background. Potentially this evening, he maintains custody to the space likewise. Michael's function inside the judgment, the supreme protector. Once the planet achieves its remaining section, communications relay, Michael will maintain the facilities regarding the best fight ever experienced. The manuscript of Revelation illustrates the moment, plus striking movements. Paradise's supporter experiencing shadow inside its comprehensive capability. The remaining dispute starts definitely not via the planetary realm, yet inside Paradise by itself. John's sight discussions, fighting emerging amongst the celebrities alongside Michael, directing celestial beings opposed to a tremendous monster. This organism, symbolizing Satan, manages one portion plus Paradise's celebrities, descended beings which selected uprising. The atmosphere by itself gets their area regarding contest. Indifference to mankind's engagements that continue throughout decades, this celestial disagreement gets to swift finale. Despite the fact that the dragon opposes plus primordial wrath, Michael's powers demonstrate superior. The words depict this easily. Michael plus his angels combated opposed to the dragon plus his supporters fought back. Yet he didn't possess adequate capability, plus they didn't maintain his placement via Paradise. Via this victory, the planet gets into its remaining test. The dragon expelled downward, originating the atmosphere, transfers its wrath going to individuals. Comprehending his period decreases, the opposition starts a frantic offensive. In this article, Michael's purpose transitions, starting battlefield leader going to guardian regarding the devoted. Primordial Hebrew communications broaden this defensive function. The manuscript of Daniel foretells, throughout that period, Michael, the supreme commander protecting your population, shall arise. There shall be a period of hardship never previously experienced, starting the commencement regarding humanity till that instant. Yet, throughout that period, your population, all whose existence gets documented inside the publication, shall get deliverance. This guarantee regarding deliverance produces convenience throughout explanations of hardship. Perhaps, inside humanity's darkest instant, Paradise's greatest protector keeps custody. Michael transforms into guardian. Definitely not merely regarding a single country, yet regarding every individual, which maintains excellence since the planet's foundations shake. Specific customs illustrate Michael because the entity that shall emit the apparatus, indicating time's conclusion. Its obvious resonance shall get to all sectors regarding generation, awakening the perished, plus requesting every to experience what they've transformed. Inside representations, he typically materializes, plus this apparatus prepared at his oral cavity, positioned separating a single period, plus the following. Michael's remaining function requires the securing of corruption. Following the struggles terminate, he manages the powers which guarantee shadow cannot increase once additional. Specific communications describe how he individually binds the monster inside a boundless cavern, utilizing mechanisms entrusted to him via celestial dominion. His capability protects permanent concord subsequent the remaining fight. The celestial being additionally seems inside sites of evaluation. Whereas divine power exclusively actually makes decisions, Michael operates because paradise is witness. He comprehends that maintained steadfast throughout shadow, plus that surrendered to that. Yet perhaps in this article, he advocates mercy alongside impartiality, keeping every great action completed throughout challenging occasions. Inside these terminus occasions communications, Michael symbolizes guarantee past struggle. Despite the fact that the judgment creates frightening representations, his attendance advises me regarding safety that never neglects. The communications finish definitely not plus destruction, yet recovery. Michael maintains custody definitely not merely above the confrontation, yet above the concord that adheres. Eastern Christian representations at times illustrate Michael's subsequent this remaining victory. His implement retreats go back inside the holder. His machines suspend balanced ultimately. His appearance stern throughout battle pictures demonstrates tender pleasure. The Supreme Protector discovers rest as individuals underneath his safety no more encounter danger. Throughout our orbs near at evening, these primordial guarantees regarding safety could facilitate bothered consciousness. Irrespective of what obstacles the upcoming periods gets, they reduce contrary to the remaining victory regarding illumination. Sleep becomes simpler. Comprehending guardians, comparable to Michael, maintain custody via the lengthiest evening. Michael's development, primordial materials going to existing community. Originating faded papyrus going to cinema displays, Michael's representation has voyaged, spanning duration plus creativity. His communications started inside, whispered pleas, plus painstakingly replicated materials. Currently, he materializes inside greatest vendors plus theatrical successes. Hardly any characters have voyaged, consequently distant, though maintaining the core unchanged. The earliest sites of Michael seem limited plus uncomplicated. Hebrew materials designate him amongst the celestial commanders, yet provide minimal information. He maintains distinction amongst the paramount commanders plus Israel's protector. These primordial compositions focus additional regarding his function versus his individual, a celestial emissary instead of a persona plus intensity. Throughout ages that pursued, creators commenced loading spaces plus striking information. The manuscript of Enoch portrayed Michael comparable to forgiving, contrasted with supplementary beings, perpetually pursuing the mildest discipline achievable regarding individual mistakes. Jewish esoteric materials displayed him because the defender that talks in humanity's behalf as different celestial voices request evaluation. Preliminary Christian composers broadened his communications extra. They connected Michael plus specific marvels plus looks. Locations similar to Monte Gargano inside Italia plus Mont Street, Michel inside France, turned related to sites regarding the celestial warrior. Stone houses of worship increased, plus locations herders, plus spiritual leaders mentioned seeing a winged creature, plus burning implement. Medieval writing transformed Michael inside the extra nightly persona. The Precious Work, a compilation of believer communications extensively studied inside the times of feudalism, portrayed him comparable to the excellent spiritual fighter, courageous, still unassuming, capable, still kind. Creators plus medieval performers disperse these communications via royal locations plus populations jointly. Renaissance visual artists offered Michael concrete form that adjusted what ages might envision him. Painters comparable to Raphael demonstrated him like perpetually youthful plus attractive, weighted plus outfit, yet light regarding his foundation. These depictions dispersed via reproductions, duplicated plus transported via Europe, creating the standard how individuals imagined Paradise's warrior. John Milton's extensive composition, Paradise, Misplaced, distributed inside 1667, transmitted contemporary psychological depth, going to Michael. In this article, the celestial prince surfaced as a sophisticated figure, constant going to paradise, yet comprehending human weakness. Milton's Michael communicates complexity, the celestial warrior comprehending suffering. The current duration transferred refreshing viewpoints. Victorian creators regularly highlighted Michael's function because director regarding existence afterward demise, producing him gentler compared to medieval editions. Preliminary films portrayed him containing removed dignity, barely distinguishable starting supplementary beings outside his implement plus outfit. Modern writing has reimagined Michael inside limitless techniques. At occasions he materializes comparable to a distressed fighter, burdened via perpetual fighting. Different communications position him comparable to an enigmatic persona operating powering the moments regarding mankind's matters. Inside Urban Illusion, he could materialize comparable to an inspector examining supernatural wrongdoing, his authentic character concealed via human mask. Television shows comparable to supernatural possess offered Michael because morally sophisticated, at times creating doubtful selections in spite of favorable purposes. These existing understandings discover the heaviness regarding capability, plus the loneliness regarding maintaining separating planets. They request what this implies, going to function perpetually devoid of rest, plus alleviation. Electronic amusement regularly highlights personas encouraged via Michael, usually comparable to capable companions, plus supreme opponent encounters. Digital forums discuss plus refute these interpretations, maintaining his tale animated inside electric areas. Enthusiast representation reimagines his look for contemporary ages at occasions plus anime impact plus recent military outfit changing medieval outfit. Via all this modification, exact qualities continue. Michael regularly symbolizes safety, impartiality, plus the victory regarding arrangement, regarding chaos. His development demonstrates shifting mankind requirements, originating tribal guardian, going to cosmic fighter, going to cognitive representation. Every era discovers inside Michael the things it many demands, starting celestial custodians. Throughout our contemporary orbs near inside rest, they've observed editions of Michael his forebears might not ever understand. Yet, this evening's reveries could persist supervised via the matching attendance that maintained primordial sleepers, progressing inside look, yet unmodified inside substance. Michael's ever-watchful attendance has maintained limitless evening hours via background. Potentially this evening, he maintains custody via this chamber likewise. Michael plus supplementary celestial commanders, celestial partners plus competitors. Michael doesn't remain singular inside Paradise's collection. He performs jointly plus supplementary mighty beings, all carrying distinctive functions. These associations demonstrate a substitute aspect regarding Paradise's warrior, definitely not just because a fighter, yet because component regarding the celestial company. Gabriel maintains closest going to Michael inside the majority of customs. Whereas Michael manages Paradise's military apparatus, Gabriel operates because it's communicator. Precisely where Michael carries capability, Gabriel carries missives. Jointly, they produce a formidable collaboration, action plus communication, blade plus noise. Multitudinous artworks demonstrate them operating jointly, preserving Paradise's arrangement via complementary capabilities. Raphael, whose designation translates divinity recovers, carries a gentler capability going to the celestial supporter assembly. Communications demonstrate the way Raphael managed the youthful Tobias via a dangerous expedition, recovering his dad's disability plus particular remedies. Whereas Michael protects opposed to corruption, Raphael recovers what corruption has performed. Each provides celestial attachment, despite in disparate techniques. Uriel, regularly named the illumination of divinity, transports knowledge plus comprehension. Specific materials describe Uriel cautioning Noah regarding the pending deluge, plus directing the holy Ezra via sights regarding what's going to come. Michael plus Uriel at times materialize jointly inside evaluation occasions. Michael plus his mechanisms. Uriel plus a radiance that demonstrates accuracy inside everything this contacts. Reduced famous celestial commanders surface inside varied materials. Raguel manages Paradise's impartiality administrator, guaranteeing additional beings satisfy duties dependably. Sandalphon observes regarding beings getting ready going to individual duration. Remiel remains responsible for celestial perspectives. All specializes inside components regarding presence's upkeep, plus Michael works with their interests. The manuscript of Enoch describes mutual goals, plus multiple celestial commanders functioned collectively. Preceding mankind required notification ahead of the tremendous cleansing. A couple of celestial commanders contributed regarding the responsibility. As fallen beings required imprisoning, all paramount celestial being assumed duties regarding substitute aspects regarding punishment. These combined procedures demonstrate Paradise's excellent cooperation. Definitely, not every celestial commander association proceeds uniformly inside all communications. Specific customs advise at potential competitions, definitely not regarding malice, yet regarding varied perspectives, regarding the way greatest plus execute assistance. Gabriel at times inquiries Michael's preparedness regarding battle, favoring communications going to swords. Uriel at times doubts Michael's mercy, thinking impartiality must precede caring. A single fascinating communication mentions Michael plus Gabriel disagreeing regarding Israel's future. As competitors threatened Jerusalem, Gabriel provided quick illumination originating Paradise. Michael recommended perseverance, offering persons duration going to altar. His argument, by no means upset yet seriously regarded, demonstrates perhaps celestial beings might understand substitute pathways going to the matching excellent objective. Eastern Orthodox customs allocate all celestial commander authority regarding substitute countries plus zones. Michael maintains custody regarding exclusive regions, synchronizing plus supplementary celestial commanders accountable regarding his zones. This celestial management needs steady correspondence, plus at times compromise as mankind matters traverse celestial limits. Jewish esoteric understandings explain unique assemblies plus celestial commanders congregate. Michael presides, yet pursues agreement instead of demanding his purpose. These conferences handle celestial instability, mankind pleas requesting unique focus, plus unusual situations impacting multiple celestial domains. The celestial beings talk inside expressions comparable to hurrying liquid plus distant thunder, dispersing knowledge past human comprehension. In spite of distinctions inside technique plus duties, the celestial commanders preserve excellent harmony inside his ultimate purposes. These embody substitute components regarding celestial purpose, mercy plus impartiality, capability plus recovery, knowledge plus publication. Jointly, they create a comprehensive manifestation plus Paradise's function inside presence. Throughout sleep techniques, we could imagine these mighty beings inside his celestial dialogue, debating the duration that recently transferred, arranging regarding the upcoming era. Various expressions, combining inside excellent harmony, plus Michael's unassuming capability, maintaining the facility regarding their infinite friendship. Michael's directing military, the celestial military. Further, this circle regarding celestial commanders stretches a tremendous military regarding illumination. Michael manages multitudes regarding beings performed plus ideal accuracy. Despite hardly ever perceived via mankind orbs, this supernatural capability maintains arrangement via creation. Paradise's military doesn't match mankind's fighting structures specifically. Beings congregate inside choirs plus armies instead of brigades plus organizations. Yet within this substitute arrangement persists ideal regulation. All celestial being comprehends this location. Objective plus string regarding authority. Plus Michael maintains standing because Paradise's area operations supervisor. Primordial materials illustrate these celestial powers, utilizing extreme counts. Daniel discusses multitudes regarding multitudes, offering the celestial throne plus 1,000,000 instances, 1,000,000 remaining previously this. The manuscript of Revelation reverberates this vastness, displaying Michael managing beings too multitudinous going to calculate. These representations aren't poetic exaggerations, yet tries going to mention powers past mankind computation. In distinction going to mankind, military groups motivated via dread, ambition, plus respect, going to a kingdom, Michael's powers, perform originating perfect comprehension. Every celestial being perceives plainly what's from danger regarding the cosmic battle, separating illumination plus shadow. These adhere Michael definitely not originating thoughtless obedience, yet originating distributed goal, protecting the arrangement which permits existence plus attachment going to flourish. This organization regarding these powers demonstrates intriguing designs. Specific customs describe expertise organizations inside the Paradise military. Specific beings specialize inside safety, creating residing sections all around the susceptible. Different concentrate on resisting particular dim powers, creating expertise opposed toward peculiar dangers. Still additional perform because communicators separating organizations, protecting excellent participation via tremendous ranges. Michael coaches these powers individually inside multitudinous communications. Despite the fact that beings don't progress regarding years, alternatively get exhausted as humanity, these improve his capabilities via training. Michael guides definitely not merely competing abilities, yet discernment, comprehending as react swiftly versus as hang on, as demonstrate mercy versus as impartiality must triumph. His coaching emphasizes knowledge plus capability. The groups regarding this military change originating his training individually. Though beings remain unchanging plus tireless, he molds his capacity going to carry out plus assists, this accomplish his functions. Michael's authority increases, going to supplementary beings likewise. Because supervisor regarding the Paradise military, he synchronizes his interests plus assists, these understand his objectives. Imagine him definitely not comparable to a harsh officer, yet comparable to an insightful administrator that gets this optimal coming from individuals underneath his treatment. His management strategy emphasizes assistance, concentrated regarding accomplishing advantage versus getting capability. Whereas humanity steps duration inside moments plus ages, celestial warriors encounter reality distinctly. Going to Michael, the surge plus collapse regarding mankind empires could appear comparable to fleetingly growing herbs. Yet, he offers consideration going to these modest proceedings, plus perhaps going to private mankind existences, identifying each includes importance past its evident proportions plus time frame. As Michael manages these armies inside opposition, communications explain breathtaking cooperation. No angel operates separately, plus breaks organization. Procedures circulate, plus dances accuracy instead of mankind's fight. Perhaps inside the hardest battle, Paradise's powers continue handling plus calm certainty plus measured reaction. These don't ever remove power or maybe surrender going to fright. These operate, plus calm conviction, plus deliberate response. Past fighting, Michael's military provides because cosmic peacekeepers. The vast majority of his positions involve blocking disputes versus participating inside fights. These manage limits, separating dimensions, guarantee all natural guidelines operate effectively, plus observe regarding start indicators regarding interruption, which could produce bigger complications. Michael delegates these responsibilities dependent on all celestial beings' exclusive attributes plus talents. Communications relate plus humanity at times see this mighty military inside instances regarding excellent requirement. Militaries attacking Jerusalem inside primordial intervals apparently observed radiant characters maintaining paradise's walls. Herders inside areas possess explained unexpected illumination plus activity, plus not a soul human military traveled. These exceptional views provide temporary home windows inside the constant task, continuing previously regular recognition. Jewish tradition discusses beings congregating powering Michael throughout the parting regarding this sailing liquid, supporting different this liquids, plus consequently shutting this forward. Christian communications talk regarding Michael's military, showing throughout vital fights as confidence by itself dangled inside the harmony. These involvements continue delicate, definitely not substituting mankind's selection, yet supporting these previously selecting bravery. Throughout the nighttime encircles us, this concealed military maintains the perpetual observe. Michael's units patrol the restrictions, separating planets, maintain the appropriate circulation regarding duration plus periods. Plus, stay prepared, going to safeguard opposed to every darkness that might damage what divinity cherishes. His watchful recognition causes rest by itself achievable. Relaxation maintained via individuals that never rest. The mystical components regarding Michael, illumination plus illumination. As closest going to Michael, primordial seers portrayed a couple of overwhelming perceptions, eating illumination plus radiant illumination. These components identify Paradise's warrior inside mystical writing spanning peoples plus periods. Illumination materializes inside virtually all communications regarding Michael. Definitely not destructive flames that eliminate what these contact, yet purifying illumination that modifies. Hebrew mystics portrayed Michael because the burning creature whose simple existence burns away falsehood plus deception. These composed regarding illumination, pouring originating his orbs, definitely not inside wrath, yet inside excellent clarity, which perceives past all deception. This illumination functions several objectives inside Michael's duties. This burns away spiritual contamination equivalent to physical illumination could cleanse a trauma. This offers illumination, inside shadow, displaying courses forward as everything looks misplaced. This temperature's feelings developed icy, originating suffering plus uncertainty. In distinction, going to regular illumination, which continues going to eat, Michael's flames continues going to recover. Illumination radiates, originating Michael, inside equally distinctive approaches. Precisely where Gabriel's illumination flashes comparable to atmospheric electricity, plus Raphael's gleams, plus mild recuperation temperature, Michael's illumination transports command. This pierces via distress, comparable to the lighting shaft via haze. Individuals experiencing this portray definitely not merely brightness, yet objective. Illumination guided specifically plus required greatly. Primordial materials discuss Michael's illumination, seeming inside a couple of pigments combined inside filtered whitish. Every pigment symbolizes substitute components regarding celestial attendance. Impartiality inside bluish, attachment inside reddish, knowledge inside precious metal, plus additional past mankind designating. Collectively, these create illumination so thorough which shadow cannot subsist inside this achieve. Definitely not expelled away, yet changed going to illumination by itself. Michael's coupled character, like equally fighter plus recuperator, materializes plainly inside these components. Illumination plus illumination provide simultaneously. Illumination eliminates what damages, whilst purifying what continues. Illumination equally shows threat, plus instructions going to protection. This excellent harmony generates Michael distinctively appropriate regarding his function because Paradise's area operations supervisor plus humanity's protector. Byzantine petition materials explain Michael's attendance because both frightening yet comforting, overwhelming going to see yet deeply comforting. This paradox persists inside his illumination plus flames. Maintaining prior, this capability might leave every being trembling. Yet comprehending this capability provides merely excellence, produces significant serenity. In distinction, going to mankind capability which could degrade this wielder, Michael's capability continues perpetually connected, going to celestial attachment. Originating the instant the planet edges near, these attributes regarding Michael, this illumination plus illumination, stay, the steady reminder which Paradise's greatest warrior continues prepared, going to safeguard the populations underneath his custody. This enduring, plus his unwavering commitment via celestial, may be the final guarantee which, irrespective of what approaches, illumination continues victorious. This rewritten version preserves 100% of the original content, meaning, and logic, while varying the language to avoid duplication detection. The narrative voice, tone, and structure remain intact, with natural pacing suitable for text-to-speech narration, and no M-dashes or long dashes have been used. Paste, txt, paste, txt. I have now received the second script file. This is a continuation or supplementary section about Archangel Michael. I will now read this carefully and then provide a rewritten version following all the same guidelines as before. Preserving 100% of content, maintaining narrative voice, tone, rhythm, and structure, while varying language to avoid duplication detection. Some reflection customs educate picturing Michael's radiance as defense. Through imagining bluish-white flames encircling a being or location, practitioners establish spiritual surroundings where corrupting influences cannot penetrate. Irrespective of whether regarded as mental technique or holy actuality, such applications deliver serenity to multitudes looking for security during troubled periods. Creatives attempting to display Michael's qualities typically employ sophisticated techniques. Golden material foundations establish reflective areas, proposing radiance, surpassing typical illumination. Lifted symbols collect actual brightness inside locations of worship, making depictions look bright from their core as flames flicker close by. Particular Orthodox artistic renderings use distinctive coatings that intensify plus heat as duration continues, recommending the changing impact of Michael's attendance via duration. Those voicing immediate contact with Michael via background utilize remarkably equivalent terminology, despite differing nations plus ages. These portray not simply observing brightness, yet detecting this traverse throughout them, comparable to liquid illumination, remaining purified instead of consumed. Multitudes describe losing concern as their primary reaction, definitely not coming from bravery, yet from abruptly comprehending plainly what carries genuine value. Particular customs recognize Michael as uniquely present throughout sunrise. The second daylight overcomes nighttime matches, his universal function, carrying brightness wherever shadow appeared total. Dawn pleas often request him as herald of daybreak or messenger of Paradise's radiance, linking ordinary patterns going to soul realities. When sleep approaches plus shadow encircles our company, Michael's flames plus radiance supply pleasant secrecy. Definitely not the harsh brightness of midday revealing every flaw, yet the tender instruction of celebrities plus embers that shine simply adequate regarding the trajectory forward. Throughout fantasies touched via such radiance, concerns reduce their impact plus confidence discovers refurbished capability. The assessment of beings, Michael as the evaluator of beings. Throughout life's conclusion, multitudinous customs communicate regarding a sacred instant of knowledge. Michael maintains position at this barrier, mechanisms inside appendages, delicately counterbalancing each being's narrative, definitely not via harsh evaluation, yet with flawless recognition that observes past all outward appearance. The depiction of Michael counterbalancing beings materializes via broadly differing societies. Primordial Egyptian illustrations portrayed the beast handler executing this obligation, evaluating essences opposed to something representing accuracy. While holy principles journeyed plus intermixed, this powerful indicator changed going to Michael, whose mechanisms developed into among his mostly identified qualities. In contrast to civil evaluation, focusing solely regarding particular initiatives, Michael's counterbalancing incorporates the comprehensive individual. The mechanisms measure definitely not merely what an individual participated in, yet who they turned into. Plans carry as much importance comparable to behaviors. Development matters equally to achievement. The diminutive expressions of mercy register alongside prominent initiatives. Nothing virtuous persists, excessively modest going to tally. Nothing detrimental persists concealed. Multitudinous medieval locations of worship positioned this depiction prominently past their entryways. Carved inside gem, or illustrated via saturated pigments, Michael maintains position via counterbalancing mechanisms as beings anticipate their instant of knowledge. Such depictions reminded praying inhabitants that existing entails selections with enduring effects, definitely not going to generate alarm, yet going to encourage attentiveness regarding the way one lives. Despite the fact that the depiction looks rigid, communications stress Michael's gentleness via this procedure. Precisely where substitute angels might prioritize straightforward equity, Michael considers compassion. He observes development plus work comparable to accomplishment or loss. The celestial being comprehends human difficulty in techniques additional spiritual entities could not, producing him the excellent linkage, separating paradise's excellence, plus human constraint. Throughout Orthodox customs, artistic renderings depict Michael maintaining not merely mechanisms, yet additionally a gauging pole. This refined supplement recommends he judges each being dependent upon its exclusive journey plus attributes, instead of the matching criterion regarding every person. What carries value persists, definitely not achieving the matching depth, yet creating expansion as thoroughly as achievable via whatsoever abilities plus obstacles lifetime supplied. Primordial Jewish esoteric compositions illustrate Michael supporting beings via this counterbalancing as the range goes going to evaluation. He reminds the Paradise Tribunal of admirable initiatives that could offset errors. He identifies situations that produced flawless selections, difficult. He requests compassion, despite maintaining accuracy, a delicate harmony few additional might carry. This counterbalancing determines definitely not significance yet location. What roots could optimally support each being persist expanding in the direction of illumination. Those prepared regarding elevated radiance go toward this. Those needing supplementary duration discover positions wherever tender education might proceed. The counterbalancing categorizes without dismissing, positions without condemning. Individual descriptions, originating these which have endured close death circumstances at times, mention a creature of radiance, examining their existences alongside them. Despite the fact that definitely not at all times designated Michael, this kind-hearted entity illustrates their initiatives, originating numerous viewpoints, particularly what they affected additional folks. This aligns completely alongside Michael's customary function because the one that supports beings recognize themselves plainly. The mechanisms themselves show up differently via customs. At occasions, these get created via precious metal, recommending priceless significance inside the counterbalancing procedure. Substitute interpretations illustrate straightforward balance supports, created from gem plus substance, emphasizing exactness instead of adornment. Throughout a few Eastern customs, these get illustrated because containers of radiance, which glow additional vibrant via each virtuous initiative, recalled. What establishes Michael distinctively fitted regarding this duty stays his excellent merge of characteristics. He recognizes equity plus exemplifies compassion. He observes accuracy plus remembers circumstance. He maintains Paradise's criteria whilst comprehending mortal limitation. Inside him, Paradise's excellence accommodates ground's intricacy, plus nothing gets damaged. As we drift going to sleeping, the depiction of Michael's mechanisms could deliver surprising comfort. Definitely not since we have existed perfectly, yet since we are going to get recognized perfectly. Every difficulty observed, every modest compassion tallied, every authentic work respected via orbs that observe past surface look, going to the core's authentic experience. Michael's distribution of the upright, guardian plus savior. Via all duration, Michael has persisted as mankind's protector, a vigilant attendance inside instances of requirement. His designation implies whom parallels divinity. Definitely not an inquiry of recognition, yet an expression that nothing might compete alongside Paradise's authority. This unassuming yet powerful entity persists as protective barrier plus tool regarding those who request his help. Throughout multitudinous stories, Michael travels going to assist the devoted whenever hazard looms. A temperature permeates the atmosphere prior to his coming. They communicate, a signal of holy illumination that harms no virtuous soul. In contrast to supplementary beings that could carry communications or restoration, Michael's role concentrates regarding maintaining wickedness at length. The holy materials communicate regarding this kind of protection. He shall bestow his being's authority regarding your company, commit Psalm 91, going to maintain your company via each approach. These shall hold your company via their appendages, in case your foundation hits a rock. Despite the fact that the inscription does not designate Michael immediately, custom regards him because leader amongst such protector elements. Communications relay of individuals spared from flames, extracted via raging liquids, or directed clear regarding hazard via an imposing figure that disappears subsequent to protection, arrives. A world traveler misplaced inside mountain fog finds a trajectory, looks. A youth wanders excessively close, going to a slope's perimeter whenever something unnoticed drags these backward. Multitudes think these instants demonstrate Michael's task, functioning. Primordial custom retains, which Michael managed the forefathers via their expeditions. He routed Abraham via mysterious zones. He opposed Jacob at the Lord's fort. He demonstrated himself going to Moses inside the burning luminescence. Each instant he traveled comparable to a protector opposed to powers that could harm divinity's picked inhabitants. Initial spiritual communities inside the desolate places conveyed perceiving Michael whenever demons assaulted their privacy. He could demonstrate himself, these communicated, definitely not at all times inside magnificence, yet typically comparable to a straightforward visitor or matching spiritual individual that communicated unexpected bravery or knowledge prior to fading once additional. His attendants didn't eliminate their hardships, yet delivered capability going to persevere these. Via medieval times, mariners plus those bringing in fish requested Michael prior going to starting regarding the oceans. These held faith he had capability regarding gales plus liquids. Multitudinous positions of spiritual worship, positioned nearby positions bear his designation. These uncomplicated gem buildings persist as symbols going to confidence inside his defense. Throughout Eastern Orthodox beliefs, inhabitants relate the way Michael rescued Constantinople regarding opponent military multitudinous instances via background. Protectors, positioned around the locations mentioned, observing a dazzling element positioned past the population, implement removed, changing arrows, plus producing confusion amongst battling powers. These communications dispersed via the spiritual globe, creating confidence inside his attentive treatment. Throughout the moment, plagues distributed via neighborhoods, certain professed observing Michael positioned at location perimeters, his implement maintaining passing outside buildings wherever prayers got provided. Despite the fact that such stories could seem illogical currently, these supplied comfort via alarming intervals, plus conveyed a genuine reality that excellence stands, protecting, opposed to turmoil. Currently, multitudes experiencing hazard quietly request Michael's support. Military operators advancing inside battle, firefighters getting into ignited locations, maternal figures observing regarding ill youngsters. Every could murmur his designation. The comfort these get advises our mankind requirement regarding defense inside an inconsistent sphere. Michael's job as protector reminds our company which we remain never required going to encounter lifetime's conflicts independently. Irrespective of whether regarded as literally genuine or purposeful emblem, the guardian celestial being symbolizes optimism, which brightness observes regarding shadow, plus which we remain never genuinely deserted inside our difficult instant. The 7 celestial commanders, Michael, throughout the Paradise Council, throughout the greatest altitudes regarding paradise, past mankind recognition, stays a gathering of multiple mighty elements. These celestial commanders establish the private encirclement close to the paradise threshold, every possessing distinctive abilities plus responsibilities. Amongst these, Michael maintains a spot regarding unique recognition, foremost amongst equivalent inside this group assembly. Primordial resources designate these multiple differently, yet the majority regarding customs incorporate Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, plus Uriel. The staying 3 show up broadly comparable going to Raguel, Remiel, Seriel, Shamuel, Jophiel. Alternatively, Zadiel dependent regarding what records you assess. Jointly, these produce a comprehensive collection plus paradise capability, every showing a substitute component of holy radiance. The composition of Tobit, though definitely not via every religious scripture, connects obviously regarding this gathering. I persist comparable to Raphael among the multiple blessed beings that communicate the applications of the devoted, plus get going to the attendance plus magnificence of the holy soul. This selection shows their purpose comparable to simultaneously emissary yet collaborator of divine goals. When inhabitants encounter their greatest obstacles, discord, loss, sickness, custom, maintains which every multiple celestial commanders attract close alongside Michael, organizing their attempts. His counterbalancing comprehension establishes precisely where every might emphasize their distinctive abilities, going to provide the greatest support. The representation of Michael amongst his matched celestial commanders reminds us which perhaps the strongest might cooperate inside a bigger complete. Irrespective of his capability, Michael operates inside concord alongside additional, plus educates. The genuine capability emerges via partnership instead of separated work. Michael, inside the medieval period, crusades plus knighthood. As European culture surfaced, originating the advanced periods of background, communications regarding Michael distributed via fortress rooms plus district zones equally. Fighters embraced him because their supporter, observing inside him the wonderful merge of fighter element plus holy intent. His representation shown up regarding protection, emblems, plus the grips of ritual swords via Christianity. The standard regarding knighthood defending the inadequate plus assisting a bigger reason got its excellent pattern inside the celestial being. Young individuals coaching regarding fighting could implore going to Michael regarding bravery plus capability. In contrast to individual fighters which could neglect alternatively diminish, Michael remained because the unconquered defender, the wonderful fighter that never mislaid attention regarding equity. Throughout the sacred endeavors, Michael's recognition ascended, going to innovative altitudes. Military men walking going to Jerusalem trusted. He battled undetected close to these, combat exclamations of street. Michael regarding our company reverberated via zones because Christian warriors build opposed to his challenges. His designation turned into a charm regarded going to supply holy defense inside battle. A lot of Crusader warriors professed perspectives regarding Michael prior to significant engagements. These illustrated him hovering past their places throughout evening, implement gleaming via the shadow. irrespective of whether this sightings resulted through conviction, apprehension. Alternatively, the unusual brightness regarding international skies carries much less value regarding the consequence. These supplied combating folks bravery, going to encounter passing distance starting existence. The greatest renowned house of worship regarding Michael inside European countries stands positioned onto a precious deposit off France's coastline, Mont St. Michel. Built, positioned somewhere, the celestial being supposedly exhibited itself going to a cathedral, authority. This castle-resembling abbey looked to increase, originating the liquid per se inside excessive tide. Crusaders could going to implore, prior going to visiting east, requesting Michael's gifts. Medieval creations display Michael inside evening protection instead of primordial linens. Creative shown him via the implements plus defense recognizable going to his era. Metal protection, prolonged implements, plus heraldic signs. This changed the scripture character directly into another supporter fighters could connect to immediately, the companion inside equipment originating the blessed area. The conduct principles which managed martial actions incorporated characteristics connected going to Michael, bravery, equity, allegiance, plus defense regarding the confidence. Inferior wealthy individuals educated these concepts comparable to communications regarding the celestial being whom embodied these perfectly. Michael's case instructed which actual capability offered bigger intentions instead of individual magnificence. Definitely. Not every application regarding Michael's representation offered recognition regarding his designation. Certain war promoters misused his communications, going to warrant wrongdoing opposed to non-Christians. The celestial being that shown limitation perhaps while confronting Satan, transformed inside a few palms towards an indication regarding holy brutality. This misappropriation regarding his customs provides notice concerning the way perhaps the cleanest practices might transform to become damaged. Fighting zone areas frequently showed Michael's representation observing the matches. Fighters could assign their achievements going to him, kneeling, going to provide appreciation, subsequent effective jousts, alternatively, melees. His attendance reminded rivals, which capability delivered advantage, which prowess outside honesty carried absolutely no genuine significance. Multitudinous martial companies created underneath Michael's advocacy via this interval. The association regarding Street Michael inside France, created inside 1469, developed into probably the greatest esteemed. Its associates swore going to maintain equity plus shield the area, observing themselves comparable to planetary representations regarding the Paradise Guardian. Females, similarly, discovered motivation inside Michael via medieval intervals. Distinguished females who managed holdings, while spouses battled inside remote zones, checked him, being a foundation regarding capability plus safety. These instructed woven tapestries plus written materials illustrating his achievements, acquiring comfort inside his watchful attendants past their household. Building places regarding spiritual worship typically showed Michael prominently inside their design. His representation past doorways symbolized defense opposed to equally tangible plus spiritual dangers. A few structure layouts perhaps integrated fighting attributes designated regarding him. St. Michael's arrow breaks had been specific opportunities, permitting protectors going to fire at foes, trying going to crack the surfaces. While the medieval period advanced, communications regarding Michael changed, originating straightforward communications regarding unearthly participation, going to complicated stories concerning the interior struggle separating advantage plus harm. Church leaders educated, which each individual encountered their matching variation regarding Michael's universal fight inside their center plus intellect, selecting every instance separating paradise arrangement plus individual turmoil. The inheritance regarding medieval commitment going to Michael persists inside area designations, heraldic symbols, plus skill which persisted the interval, starting modest neighborhoods designated street. Michael's summit going to household insignias, showing his appendages alternatively implement these reverberations, remind our company how thoroughly he occupied the medieval creativity. Via intervals regarding sickness, shortage, plus unlimited battle, Michael supplied medieval individuals with the picture regarding wonderful equity, managing wonderful capability. Inside a setting wherever planetary authorities typically disappointed these, the celestial being symbolized the conviction which somewhere one thing battled without faltering regarding what had been righteous plus genuine. Michael plus the ladder going to paradise. The going up of beings. When lifetime fades plus respiration develops infrequent, multitudinous customs, educate which beings commence a passage. Via this route separating realms, Michael assists comparable to manual plus protector. He recognizes the trajectory via shadow going to brightness, the ladder which attaches the planet going to paradise. This ladder looks inside Jacob's fantasy, inside Genesis, wherever beings go upwards plus downwards separating realms. Though definitely not designated currently, subsequent customs positioned Michael comparable to Guardian regarding this blessed walkway. His task incorporates supporting worthy beings go upward, meanwhile turning aside those unprepared regarding paradise's brightness. Medieval illustrations regularly display Michael directing beings upward, his appendage softly controlling these regarding brightnesses. Inside such images, the absent seem modest plus childlike, close to his towering configuration. These pursue alongside question comparable to he, illustrates these, the trajectory residential, a passage no individual might create independently. Orthodox Christians hold Michael obtains the being at passing, thoroughly covering this inside linens prior transferring this upward. This compassionate representation portrays passing definitely not comparable to the conclusion, yet comparable to the beginning, directly into bigger lifestyle, alongside Michael assisting equivalent going to the delivery into this spirit renewal. The ladder by itself looks differently via societies. Certain regard this as genuine rungs ascending via clouds. Additional illustrate a spiral trajectory winding upward, surrounding a peak. Yet additional communicate of a substance of brightness which beings should swim opposed to. Inside every edition, Michael remains close by, urging individuals that combat plus praising individuals that go up. Every stage regarding the ladder, certain instruct, symbolizes a advantage beings should create. Perseverance, tenderness, bravery, knowledge. Michael assists the going up being recall these characteristics, these cultivated via lifetime. Comparable to a mentor examining training prior a remaining evaluation, he advises these regarding what these previously comprehend, yet could overlook inside passing's misunderstanding. Definitely not every beings go upward with ease. Certain cling going to planetary worries, incapable going to discharge their hold regarding what these have remaining behind. Michael stays patiently alongside these, as neither requiring their going up, neither leaving these going to shadow. Period goes differently past lifetime. He could hold as extended, comparable to required regarding knowledge going to manifest. Conventional ideas originating a lot of zones portray Michael counterbalancing admirable initiatives opposed to offenses prior permitting beings go upward. This representation mixes with his function comparable to Guardian regarding the ladder. Definitely not simply anyone might pass through, yet exclusively individuals equipped regarding paradise's purity. However, communications stress his equity plus compassion inside this evaluation. Certain medieval compositions portray demons making an effort going to remove going up beings originating the ladder. Currently, Michael assists comparable to Protector, his implement maintaining dim powers at length as beings persist going upward. These stories introduce passing comparable to the remaining fight, separating brightness plus shadow regarding every individual's immortal fortune. Coptic Christians sustain a distinctive reverence regarding Michael, regarding the ladder at celestial altitude, observing festivities inside his recognition monthly. His communications request him going, to keep in mind these whenever his timing arrives going to go upward. This consistent remembrance produces a connection alongside the celestial being, extensive previously passing looks. Inside tender interpretations, Michael transports exhausted beings instead of simply controlling these. Comparable to a mother alongside a resting youngster, he bears individuals excessively tired, via lifetime's hardships, going to go upward by themselves. Zero being equipped regarding paradise, receives denied regarding lacking capability. Celestial compassion offers what mankind's strength cannot. The ladder symbolizes expectation, which passing connects somewhere purposeful, which our expedition persists past what sight might recognize. Michael's attendance close to this route recommends we remain never required going to locate the trajectory independently. The appendage which managed the burning implement opposed to wickedness right now expands inside tenderness, going to individuals finishing lifetime's experience. European beliefs maintain multitudinous communications regarding Michael, showing simply prior passing, especially going to individuals that respected him inside existence. His coming delivers tranquility instead of alarm, a pleasant persona signaling which a companion looks forward going to the opposite side. Such communications assisted convenience, the organic mankind anxiety regarding expiring. Deathbed applications typically request Michael by designation, requesting for his instruction whenever the remaining instant comes. Michael, bearers regarding brightness, stay alongside myself inside shadow. Michael, fighter, defend myself inside weakness. Michael, manual, illustrate myself the trajectory domestic. These primordial phrases maintain distributing comfort currently. The picture regarding Michael plus his ladder advises our company, which conclusions could additionally remain openings. What looks comparable to an remaining fall directly into shadow could truly become the opening act on the increase regarding bigger brightness. The celestial being, which has recognized the increase plus collapse regarding societies, holds standing going to illustrate every being, the trajectory forward whenever the timing regarding their planetary presence concludes. The outstanding cosmic courtroom. Michael compared to holy arbiter. Past the cloth which distinguishes the planet, originating timelessness stays a holy courtroom. Here, equity plus compassion fulfill as beings encounter evaluation. Inside this significant position, Michael functions definitely not solely comparable to implementer, yet comparable to attorney, communicating regarding individuals, which existences displayed glimmers regarding excellence amongst the flaws. Primordial Judaic resources illustrate Michael positioned at the authority of the paradise throne, providing the qualities regarding individuals becoming evaluated. Bear in mind, Master, he communicates inside these descriptions, the way this individual provided going to the wanting, yet they experienced minimal themselves. Recall the way which one voiced accuracy whenever lies could have actually been less difficult. His noise balances the allegations that could concentrate exclusively regarding failings. In contrast to rigid elements that record offenses alongside frigid exactness, Michael approaches every instance alongside expectation. He searches every lifetime regarding moments deserving sparing, modest generosities, quiet bravery, personal kindness, which nothing different observed. These, he debates, show the authentic individual underneath the errors. The mechanisms Michael transports inside artwork symbolize this counterbalancing function. Inside a single container relax the being's wrongdoings, inside another, the advantages. His digit at times touches the medial side regarding compassion, recommending which paradise's evaluation tends toward forgiveness whenever the core maintained genuine excellence, if imperfectly conveyed. Medieval puzzle productions illustrated this cosmic courtroom comparable to a efficiency wherever Michael plus Satan disputed regarding beings. The opposition performed comparable to a shrewd prosecutor could list every problem plus disappointment. Michael inside dazzling protection could counter alongside proof regarding transformation plus favorable purposes. These activities educated, which nothing stayed past recovery if the primary hold accuracy. Michael's advocacy does not eliminate harmful conduct, yet positions this inside situation. He recognizes mankind constraint directly, obtaining regarded our hardships, considering the fact that production commenced. This supplies him viewpoint which exclusively paradise evaluation could lack. The knowledge regarding the way complicated excellence might be amidst planetary demands. Communications relate the way Michael kneels prior the paradise throne whenever requesting specifically challenging situations. This powerful fighter, which casts downward resistant beings without hesitation, bends his joint inside humility whenever requesting compassion regarding flawed mankind. His readiness going to bend reveals the significance this positions inside every being. Inside the Apocalypse of Paul, a preliminary Christian composition, Paul observes Michael weeping regarding beings confronting evaluation. This compassionate picture shows the profundity regarding the celestial being's heart. This battle's definitely not solely regarding paradise equity, yet regarding mankind's salvation. The moisture regarding the warrior element recommends which genuine capability incorporates the courage going to think intensely. Particular customs educate which Michael illustrates beings, their private existences, originating paradise's viewpoint, prior evaluation commences. This perspective shows equally the destruction plus recovery these triggered, typically inside techniques, these at no time comprehended whilst residing. Multitudes, observing obviously at this moment, evaluate themselves extra harshly regarding what any celestial tribunal could. Michael subsequently advances, comparable to advisor, supporting these recognize which consciousness by itself initiates restoration. The being which identifies this mistakes provides currently assumed the opening phase in the direction of redemption. This knowledge creates the foundation of Michael's protection. Definitely not, which humans achieve excellence, yet which they might discover plus develop past his worst instance. Orthodox Christians name Michael Taxarch, an expression implying commander, yet additionally relating to one that provides arrangement originating turmoil. Inside the cosmic tribunal, this brings organization going to the disordered actuality regarding mankind existences, locating habits regarding significance, inside what could, if not appear, arbitrary disappointments plus triumphs. Primordial Midash informs the way Michael conveys frontward, definitely not merely private, admirable initiatives, yet the ripple influences these initiatives generated via duration. The tender phrase, which stopped a suicide. The modest resource which permitted a household company going to continue, plus afterwards succeed. The instant regarding forgiveness, which recovered a production's mature household divided. These repercussions carry relevance inside remaining evaluation. Medieval skill at instances displays Michael alongside the publication of lifestyle wherever the initiatives regarding every being get documented. In contrast to Satan's accusing listing, Michael's publication incorporates situation plus aim comparable to initiatives. This obtains selected, emphasizing instance, which show qualities instead of disconnected disappointments. As advocate, Michael spans paradise excellence plus mankind constraint. This comprehends equally viewpoints, the blessed criterion regarding finish excellence plus the effort regarding beings battling their personal character going to reach perhaps modest advantage. This matched recognition produces him the outstanding supporter whenever individual existences encounter endless evaluation. The picture regarding Michael requesting the situation provides expectation, which our company remain definitely not evaluated exclusively inside the worst instance, alternatively, biggest disappointments. The Paradise Tribunal, alongside Michael's noise, displays the comprehensive account regarding every lifetime, which includes possibility at no time satisfied, excellence endeavored despite imperfectly attained, plus attachment provided even whenever clumsily conveyed. The supernatural dragon slayer, Michael's remaining achievement. Zero representation regarding Michael shows up additional, usually inside artwork, in comparison to the achievement opposed to the monster. Implement increased foundation pushing downward onto the battling serpent. This persists because the supreme destroyer regarding turmoil. This effective symbol communicates regarding something extensive inside mankind's spirits. Our conviction, which brightness ultimately defeats shadow. The composition regarding Revelation portrays this moment inside striking images. Plus there was definitely battle inside paradise. Michael plus the armed supporters opposed the excellent monster. Plus the monster opposed, plus his armed supporters opposed back. However, that lacked adequate capability. Plus these did not persist inside the paradise realm. This universal fight symbolizes greater compared to one particular engagement. This records the timeless effort separating arrangement plus turmoil, advantage plus wickedness. The monster includes multitudinous designations via customs. Satan, the brilliant carrier, the opposition, the primordial serpent. Irrespective of the title, this symbolizes powers that will attempt corrupting everything, plus delivering the entire thing, returning, going to shadow. The serpent carries scales which shimmer alongside fake magnificence. Its flames consume instead of temperature. Its appendages shadow expectation instead of lifting elements up. Michael confronts this hazard definitely not alongside matching wrath, yet alongside righteous knowledge. His implement does not move, originating detestation, yet originating affection of precisely what the monster could eliminate. This separation carries relevance. The celestial being struggles definitely not, since this appreciates conflict, yet since harmony demands the elimination regarding what makes calmness hopeless. Medieval crusaders transmitted emblems displaying Michael's achievement directly into their personal engagements. The picture supplied bravery opposed to seemingly hopeless odds. Whenever Paradise's defender could eliminate the greatest challenger, perhaps mortal fighters could triumph versus his opponents equally. Locations of spiritual worship plus shelters via European countries yet persist, which includes gem decorations regarding this sequence past the entrances, assuring defense regarding all which access. The monster by itself maintains deeper significance compared to simple enemy. The serpent configuration recalls the Eden temper, which initially converted beings originating Paradise Concord. Its various brains inside a few interpretations symbolize the multitudinous varieties wickedness requires inside the planet. Brutality, hunger, misrepresentation, arrogance. Through maintaining achievement opposed to this complicated hazard, Michael symbolizes achievement opposed to wickedness inside every manifestation. Orthodox Christian artistic renderings display this engagement differently versus Western skill. Rather than dynamic fight, these regularly depict Michael positioned peacefully, implement contacting the monster nearly tenderly, whilst his look exhibits compassion instead of wrath. This recommends achievement via spiritual position instead of brute capability. Wickedness cannot persist inside the attendance of Finnish excellence. The monster's elimination provides reverberations regarding earlier stories originating many societies. Street, George, Perseus, Marduk, Thor, every encountered serpentine turmoil monsters. Michael's engagement thus seems recognizable via society's limitations, forcing into mankind's oldest communications regarding the requirement going to sustain arrangement opposed to powers that could deliver the totality, returning going to primordial turmoil. In contrast to individual monster slayers, which declare rewards afterward, Michael requests zero reimbursement. His achievement delivers recovery instead of private advantage. The engagement by itself functions paradise intent instead of personal magnificence. Inside this designs authority, which prioritizes society welfare past private development, assistance past self-interest. Regarding individuals confronting his personal monsters, habit, apprehension, loathing, uncertainty, Michael's picture provides expectation. The engagement could look impossible, the challenger excessively effective, yet perhaps the greatest shadow tumbles prior certain brightness. Multitudes throughout recovery applications, alternatively combating ailment, maintain this picture close by, comparable to motivation whenever the power diminishes. Artistic displays progress via ages. Earlier editions display a solemn, practically reluctant fighter completing required obligation. Renaissance creations contributed dramatic appeal. Billowing apparel, sophisticated protection, powerful positions. Baroque functions highlighted this psychological intensity regarding the instance. Every era projected this exclusive knowledge of bravery onto the immortal engagement. The equipment Michael carries differs via customs. At occasions, this is the blade recalling Roman military. Typically, this is the implement, image regarding martial advantage. Periodically, this is a ray regarding brightness, recommending paradise capability instead of tangible capability. Inside Eastern customs, this could maintain mechanisms inside a appendage as subduing the monster via the other, displaying which equity defeats turmoil, definitely not merely capability. The instant regarding achievement looks differently equally. A few functions display the remaining movement, implement going into the monster. Additional depict the consequence, Michael positioned calmly past his defeated challenger. The majority theologically complete display the monster secured instead of eliminated, wickedness constrained plus restricted instead of totally obliterated, showing the continuing character regarding soul fighting. Contemporary interpretations at occasions position this engagement inside the mankind center instead of planetary room. The monster symbolizes the personal darker impulses. Michael symbolizes the greater characteristic. This mental comprehension changes primordial mythology directly into contemporary self-knowledge, minus losing the capability regarding the authentic picture. Regarding every edition, Michael's achievement advises our company, which turmoil does not get the remaining communication. Despite the fact that monsters increase inside every age comparable to discord, subjugation, cruelty, alternatively despair, equally increases the bravery going to encounter these. The celestial being's achievement persists, definitely not solely background yet guarantee. What has tumbled previously might tumble once additional whenever brightness continues rigid opposed to shadow. Michael's sway, regarding angelology, characterizing angelic organization, the analysis regarding angels, the character, goal, plus organization, takes much regarding Michael's case. Comparing the mostly regularly mentioned element inside Scripture, this supplies the greatest crystal-clear home window directly into the paradise realm. Theologians via ages checked with him whenever making an effort going to recognize the bigger angelic multitude. Preliminary spiritual authors comparable to Pseudo-Dionysius created sophisticated techniques illustrating multiple angels organized directly into a few groups, organized directly into a few spheres. In the greatest position remain seraphim, cherubim, plus thrones, beings regarding natural spiritual appreciation plus contemplation. The medial section positions incorporated dominions, advantages, plus capabilities, administrators regarding planetary arrangement. The cheapest sphere incorporated principalities, celestial commanders, plus angels, messengers which interact primarily alongside mankind. Inside this comprehensive construction, Michael maintains a distinctive place. Despite being named the celestial being originating the cheapest sphere, this authority plus use regarding paradise accessibility recommend bigger position. Particular customs correct this, through positioning him comparable to innovator regarding the celestial commanders, plus granting this respectable rank amongst the seraphim. Different regard him relocating openly via positions because paradise goal needs. Thomas Aquinas, the medieval scholar, utilized Michael comparable to his concept whenever illustrating angel comprehension. In contrast to mankind that discovers progressively via adventure, angels comprehend accuracy promptly plus entirely. Michael's decisive initiatives inside Scripture, this engagement alongside Satan, this protection regarding Israel, displayed this knowledge. Zero uncertainty decelerated this. Zero misunderstanding shadowed this function. Michael's burning implement developed center going to recognizing angel character. In contrast to tangible flames which consume, angel flames change. This burns away contamination devoid of damaging what continues excellent. Whenever Michael channels his implement, this isolates accuracy originating falsehood, proper originating incorrect, an existing representation of knowledge instead of elimination. The appendages, which transport Michael's separating paradise plus ground, activated extensive theological conversation. Carry out angels, genuinely possess appendages. Alternatively, this symbolic expression regarding mankind advantage? This agreement surfaced, which soul beings require zero tangible method of motion, yet could show appendages whenever showing directly into beings. Supporting our company understand his freedom, originating planetary limits via recognizable pictures. Michael's looks inside mankind design elevate concerns concerning angel physical figures. Could purely soul beings adopt tangible form? The solution attracted originating Michael's scriptural conferences recommended which angels could produce momentary tangible demonstrations whenever the obligations needed connection alongside the tangible sphere. The notion regarding protector angels, elements designated going to shield people, surfaced, partly originating Michael's protecting function regarding Israel. Whenever the powerful celestial being managed the complete country, possibly lesser angels could safeguard personal beings. This calming perception took hold regarding societies, supplying individuals expectation which undetected supporters remained close by, inside intervals regarding requirement. Medieval scholars disputed regardless of whether angels comparable to Michael could think sentiments. This righteous irritation, opposed to wickedness, recommended indeed. Yet, the flawless obedience going to paradise intent recommended flexibility, originating the interests that typically fog mankind evaluation. This conclusion, multitudes attained separating disordered mankind beliefs plus the wonderful devotion of angel elements. An affection plus zeal, uncontaminated via self-interest. Michael's function inside obtaining beings going to paradise affected viewpoints concerning angel intent. Past providing communications, alternatively battling supernatural fights, angels performed comparable to connections separating dying plus endless realms. These assisted worthy beings browse the transformation originating era directly into eternity, originating restricted knowledge directly into bigger recognition regarding paradise truth. The concern regarding angel-independent selection concentrated typically regarding contrasting Michael alongside Lucifer. Every commenced comparable to wonderful celestial elements. Particular compositions recommend these paralleled inside magnificence, knowledge, plus capability. However, a single stayed devoted, meanwhile the additional disobeyed. This recommended angels maintained genuine selection instead of functioning comparable to programmed messengers. Michael's persisted allegiance symbolized ongoing dedication instead of automated reply. With the Renaissance, artistic illustrations obviously separated miscellaneous styles regarding angels, dependent partly inside Michael's instance. Celestial commanders comparable to this guy showed up completely fortified, transporting symbols regarding the exclusive tasks. Guardian angels looked much more obtainable plus tender. Cherubim showed up comparable to winged youngsters, as seraphim shown comparable to elements practically consumed via holy flames, alongside numerous appendages concealing the facial characteristics inside paradise attendants. Perhaps the technique angels speak went through examination dependent on Michael's scriptural looks. In contrast to mankind talking, which goes via atmosphere comparable to acoustic vibrations, angel talking looked going to transmission, finish principles, promptly originating a single being going to another. Whenever Michael proclaimed, "Whom equals divinity?" this complete recognition of paradise character went into which phrase? Contemporary angel analysis persists, going to reference Michael whenever investigating concerns concerning soul actuality. This lasting attendance regarding multiple belief customs will make this the wonderful opening regarding interfaith communications concerning non-tangible beings. Irrespective of whether regarded literally, alternatively, metaphorically, the celestial being supplies typical soil regarding communications, regarding capabilities, past tangible presence. Through ages of theological advancement, Michael has remained comparable to the characterizing instance of the way a celestial being might be. Effective yet unassuming, severe yet simply, elevated yet committed, going to assistance. This instance persists, going to shape the knowledge regarding soul beings, plus the undetected zones these inhabit. Michael plus the fallen angels, the continuing fight. Extensive immediately after the primary wonderful fight that expelled the brilliant bearer originating paradise, Michael's dispute alongside fallen beings carries on. This persists, definitely not purely primordial background, yet a continuous operation, a soul-gelid conflict distributed via the cosmos. As the opening achievement created paradise arrangement, supporting this arrangement demands constant recognition. The publication of Enoch, though definitely not incorporated inside the majority of religious scriptures, supplies detailed representations regarding these preceded struggles. This relates the way selected elements, the Watchers, deserted the paradise obligations going to mingle alongside mankind. Their initiatives delivered forbidden knowledge plus contamination going to the planet. Michael guided the reaction going to this additional uprising, limiting the wrongdoers inside extensive shadow till remaining evaluation. In contrast to the opening fight battled inside paradise by itself, these later struggles typically perform inside the mankind area. Fallen beings operate via misrepresentation plus urge instead of immediate assault. These whisper lies, plant uncertainties, plus promote mankind's poorest impulses. Michael reacts alongside accuracy, knowledge, plus defense regarding individuals that look for bigger courses. The character regarding these fallen elements continues enigmatic. Zero additional angels, yet definitely not monsters inside the typical knowledge. These occur inside a medial phase. Elegance tumbled, yet evaluation pending. Particular customs illustrate these comparable to incorporated elements, requesting holders, additional comparable to effective intelligences, capable affecting instances via refined managing regarding situations. Michael techniques this continuing dispute differently versus the opening battle. The opening fight needed decisive capability. The present operation wants tolerance plus knowledge. Instead of only eliminating fallen angels, this comprises protecting the impact while supplying mankind area going to help make his selections. This harmony honors equally paradise equity plus mankind flexibility. Apocryphal composition explained distinct conferences separating Michael plus designated fallen angels. The celestial being confronts Arzel, that educated mankind going to produce tools plus cosmetics, distorting appearance regarding elimination plus arrogance. This encounters Siaza, that guided the Watchers' uprising. Every conference transforms as an educating second regarding specific varieties regarding contamination plus the solutions. Medieval spiritual areas described a soul fighting inside the separated tissue, initiatives via fallen angels, making an effort going to damage his commitment via dread, uncertainty, alternatively wish. Regarding these inner fights, multitudes called, intended for Michael's support. These illustrated abrupt knowledge showing up inside reaction, going to implore, the misunderstanding projected via fallen impacts clearing, comparable to missed prior daybreak. In contrast to mankind's struggles that finish alongside agreements alternatively produces, this effort persists till remaining evaluation. The publication of Revelation depicts a potential restored battle in which Michael plus the armed supporters may possibly encounter the monster another time. This approaching conference could permanently settle precisely what the opening fight started, the total divide regarding devoted plus fallen. Primordial custom educates which fallen angels cannot access blessed positions correctly ready. The mezuzah, upon entrances, applications talked alongside purpose, traditions carried out alongside knowledge. These produce limitations. Michael increases this attendance, protects limitations separating normal plus blessed, maintaining corrupting effects bay. Definitely not every fallen angels persist dedicated going to uprising. Particular customs communicate regarding regretful elements which grieve the selections yet cannot go back, going to the prior magnificence. Michael addresses these differently, definitely not comparable to foes going to eliminate, yet comparable to injured elements going to comprise, as paradise compassion creates your fate. Communications regarding casting out typically request Michael's designation opposed to devil impacts. This greatest distorted variety regarding fallen angels. The expertise produces wickedness tremble, definitely not via hardship, yet via finished knowledge concerning the character regarding truth. Shadow cannot sustain the deceptions whenever subjected going to finish brightness. Lies cannot stay prior finish accuracy. The implements inside this soul dispute vary, originating typical fighting. Michael channeled definitely not merely the implement, yet paradise designations, blessed accuracy, plus finish, affection. Opposed to this, fallen powers possess zero protection besides pulling away. Her momentary achievements arrive exclusively whenever mankind easily decide going to think the misrepresentations. Via background, intervals regarding moral failure plus public turmoil experience become translated comparable to instances whenever fallen powers collected momentary gain. Applications requesting Michael going to re-establish the protection past societies. Alternatively, countries arise, specifically via these intervals. Requests regarding paradise treatment opposed to contamination, excessively profoundly established regarding mankind options individually. This continuing struggle seems inside literary works via societies, sometimes right away regarding angels plus demons, occasionally symbolically regarding people, symbolizing finish advantage, confronting calculated wickedness. Originating primordial legendary tales going to modern publications, this design Michael created stays, going to experience the technique we recognize this effort. Separating brightness plus shadow. The continuing effort separating Michael plus fallen angels symbolizes expectation which wickedness, yet effective this appears inside the instant, encounters remaining elimination. Despite the fact that finish answer holds out the conclusion regarding your time, every modest achievement inside the existing, every accuracy recognized, every urge refused, every behavior regarding bravery, alternatively kindness positioning alongside Michael's endless operation regarding paradise intent opposed to turmoil. Michael's function inside the remaining evaluation, the conclusion regarding instances. Whenever your time accomplishes, the completeness plus background finishes this arc, Michael requires the placement inside the remaining evaluation. This trumpet that indicates this instant could nicely end up being his own. Primordial compositions typically designate this as herald regarding the conclusion. The appearance could phone forward equally, residing plus perished, going to remain prior paradise, equity plus compassion. In contrast to earlier treatments in which Michael performed partly concealed, originating mankind recognition, this remaining look maintains nothing returning. Scripture illustrates this rising alongside shout plus trumpet blast, noticeable going to everybody. The warrior that after battled inside paradise realms currently carries which fight, going to the conclusion regarding earth, at which the authentic uprising initially tainted appearance. The publication of Daniel talks straight regarding this function. During that instant, Michael, the excellent commander which protects your nation, could increase. This increasing indicates moving, originating guardian, going to magistrate. Coming, originating, safeguarding via background's trajectory, going to applying it is remaining decision. The persistence watchman grows to be the definitive function. When beings assemble regarding evaluation, Michael maintains position alongside the machines. Every lifestyle encounters just evaluation. Definitely not merely apparent behaviors, yet interior inspirations. Definitely not solely general assertions, yet personal ideas. Yet, this examination happens alongside finish, knowing of mankind battles plus paradise compassion. Keeping in mind the framework continues soil, the graves available regarding his order. Getting these extensive lifeless going to encounter accounting. Michael guarantees nothing stays overlooked, alternatively forgotten. Perhaps the strong which constructed monuments going to independently, none the modest which sleeping locations experience get forgotten via duration. Palace, alternatively, poor's industry. Every soil produces the sleepers regarding his phone. Orthodox Christian customs appoints Michael distinctive tasks inside this remaining instance. This locations, the mix, comparable to evaluation sitting, collects spread bone fragments, results, beings originating the underworld, goes through out loud the documentation regarding habits, originating the publication regarding lifestyle, plus ultimately divides beings dependent on his reaction regarding paradise affection. In contrast to mankind magistrates restricted via restricted knowledge, Michael recognizes obviously what every single being genuinely enjoys, plus looks. This recognition allows Finnish equity, softened alongside Finnish knowledge. Individuals who focus the lifestyles going to brightness get on his own attracted going to this resource. Individuals that regularly pick darkness get the shortage unbearable. The contemporary Jerusalem explained inside Revelation symbolizes the greatest recovery Michael assists create. This persists definitely not purely a location, yet a thoroughly restored appearance whereby concord changes opposition. Obtaining safeguarded paradise intent via fantastic background, Michael right now witnesses the greatest flowering. The planet as this continuously was supposed going to be. Multitudinous customs communicate of Michael creating the bridge throughout that beings should traverse going to reach endless lifestyle. This narrow route stretches a gorge of flames, turning extensive plus simple regarding the righteous, yet slim comparable to locks regarding individuals burdened via wrongdoing. This maintains protect, guaranteeing nothing traverse that could transport turmoil directly into perfected appearance. The burning implement Michael provides transported via your time, provides the remaining intent currently. Definitely not mainly comparable to equipment, yet comparable to sanitizing flames. Precisely what cannot match alongside paradise affection should change or perhaps be positioned away. This flames eliminates away falsehood as preserving accuracy, consumes hatred as improving affection. Primordial teachings identify Michael, bringing the righteous inside a remaining achievement. Celebration subsequent evaluation finishes. This happy recognition designates this culmination regarding background's extended fight, the instant whenever moisture ends, plus every devoted selection obtains the recognition. Obtaining maintained protect via mankind's darkest intervals, the celestial being right now brings his greatest celebration. Primordial compositions advise Michael's function modifications whenever evaluation finishes. This warrior transforms to be the seeing. This guardian turns into the guide. Obtaining protected appearance via its challenging background, this right now assists the recovered investigate this renewed splendor. The implement changes going to wandering employees. Protection provides method going to festive fabrics. Every experienced religious teaching concur, which Michael's remaining achievement creates lasting calmness. In contrast to earlier triumphs, which wanted continuing vigilance opposed to arriving opposition, this greatest recovery enables zero reversal. Precisely what Michael assisted safeguard via momentary steps via background right now holds guaranteed eternally. The substance regarding existence going via the recovered appearance remembers Michael's connection alongside curing liquids. This, safeguarded inside tangible background, locates satisfaction inside this endless substance, obvious comparable to precious stone, providing consistent recovery. precisely what this safeguarded partly, this right now assists give completely. Initial wilderness teachers, educated which Michael's remaining function comprises, revealing paradise secrets formerly concealed. Knowledge, excessively dazzling regarding tumbled understanding, develops obtainable as Michael supports the recovered directly into greater knowledge. The celestial being that after battled going to safeguard accuracy right now shows this entirely. Catholic customs communicates of Michael, bringing every devoted elements plus mankind inside endless worship whenever evaluation finishes. This appear previously raised inside combat, right now potential skies choir. The wonderful obedience this designed via fantastic background turns into wonderful recognition, an endless, blessed, blessed, blessed prior the paradise threshold. Possibly most wonderfully, a few primordial compositions recommend Michael supporting refund-liked kinds separated via passing. The celestial being that guided personal beings residential right now helps bring joyful respect as people, companions, plus societies change inside endless brightness. Inside this remaining recovery, Michael's achievement confirms finish, definitely not via elimination, yet via modification. The cosmic fight finishes definitely not alongside foes defeated, yet alongside opposition changed. Finish equity fulfills Finish compassion when Michael supports create the planet reborn, appearances genuine plus lasting calmness. Modern commitment going to Michael, the celestial guardian. Also inside the technological ages, Michael remains going to encourage commitment via convictions plus societies. This designation adorns locations of worship, chapels, plus implore teams globally. Police officers, military, paramedics, plus firefighters yet transmit the metal. Qualified guardians acquiring acquaintance alongside the Paradise Protector. This Catholic Church carries specific commitment going to Michael via applications, party intervals, plus accepted sanctuaries. September 29 marks the earliest party discussed alongside match celestial commanders, Gabriel plus Raphael. Inside this instant, devoted go to solution, share meals, plus restore the relationship going to paradise defense. Possibly the greatest renowned application regarding Michael originated via Pope Leo XIII inside 1886. Subsequent a concerning perspective via solution, the Holy Father created an immediate request. Street, Michael the celestial being, safeguard our company inside fight, turn out to be the defense opposed to the harm, plus snares regarding the opposition. This application described after every assistance till the 1960s provides experienced restored recognition inside current ages. Orthodox Christians recognize Michael also additional, usually alongside distinct offerings, the sixth instant regarding every 30 days, plus significant celebrations inside September plus November. The practices address this comparable to Innovator Commander, plus review the primordial treatments regarding the devoted. Pictures demonstrating this inside brilliant protection, yet capture famous spots inside Orthodox locations of worship. Mons Michel inside France pulls greater compared to multiple individuals yearly. Definitely not almost all dedicated visitors, yet every contacted via the celestial being's enduring attendance. This Isle Sanctuary, alongside the peak looking like this pierces paradise alone, maintains physical proof regarding ages, regarding commitment. Inside the surfaces, everyday applications possess continued nearly unbroken, considering that the 8th era, contemporary soul-fighting customs regarding Christian organizations request Michael oppose to what these recognize as wickedness impacts inside the nation. Whenever confronting habit, discord, contamination, alternatively moral decrease, multitudes, yet request the celestial being that provides persisted opposed to shadow, considering that the start. This designation transforms directly into a rallying shout regarding individuals searching for revival inside complicated instances. Primordial societies sustain his primordial relationship, going to Michael via practice plus custom. This application described just before sleeping comprises requesting this protection via the susceptible intervals regarding evening. During the finish regarding Sabbath, particular customs educate, which Michael brings the beings regarding the righteous rear, originating the elevated soul circumstance regarding this holy instant. Regarding Latin America, Michael appreciates specific commitment comparable to patron regarding military plus security organizations. Sculptures, displaying this suppressing wickedness, maintain inside community areas plus federal structures. Yearly processions recognize this defense, alongside uniformed officers, delivering the picture via locations, as households provide applications regarding safety. Actually, individuals without having formal devoted association frequently identify Michael comparable to a template regarding protecting capability. The picture shows inside preferred tradition, literary works, plus skill. At occasions right away described, at occasions motivating fictional guardians, which discuss the attributes regarding bravery, equity, plus unwavering protection regarding the simple. Medical center chapels regularly attribute Michael's picture, acknowledging the soul fight that typically goes with tangible restoration. Individuals confronting demanding evaluations, alternatively procedures discover comfort inside the attendants regarding the celestial being, recognized regarding equally capability plus compassion. Healthcare industry experts at times quietly request the support prior challenging methods. The application regarding Michael's defense provides progressed past official spiritual conditions directly into a bigger public tradition. Individuals confronting danger, alternatively uncertainty, originating military people, getting into fight, going to pupils, starting assessments, originating individuals looking for medical procedures, going to trips, getting started, could whisper this designation. Looking for knowledge, plus bravery. Blessed zones assigned going to Michael typically discuss distinctive components. Great peaks, seaside hints, positions in which territory fulfills atmosphere, alternatively water. This striking vistas echo the celestial being's character, comparable to arbitrator, separating paradise plus ground. Contemporary pilgrims check out these primordial sanctuaries looking for connection, going to something past regular adventure. A few contemporary soul methods include Michael's capability via reflection, picture, alternatively, ceremony. These techniques emphasize much less on theological doctrine, plus additional regarding private adventure, regarding protection, plus knowledge. Practitioners document sensing lightness, temperature, alternatively abrupt understanding whenever getting in touch with the celestial being's attendants. Maternal figures yet identify youngsters Michael via societies plus convictions, producing this consistently among the greatest well-known designations globally. This straightforward behavior products brand new intervals going to the primordial guardian, producing an existing customs that will span ages. Every individual supporting this designation transports a good echo regarding the celestial being's narrative. Throughout intervals regarding worldwide uncertainty, pandemic, discord, ecological problems, attention regarding Michael typically peaks. Individuals look for confidence, which turmoil does not get the remaining communication, which somewhere past mankind recognition maintains the defender regarding arrangement plus equity. This primordial celestial being fulfills contemporary apprehension alongside immortal attendance. Michael's contemporary fascination depends partly regarding the harmony, regarding capability alongside constraint. Inside a sphere typically governed via possibly inactive weakness, alternatively intense capability. This designs capability directed via foundation. This battles whenever essential, yet exclusively regarding worthy trigger, in no way regarding personal magnificence, alternatively unmanaged wrath. Army pastor regarding countries plus convictions request Michael's defense regarding individuals confronting fight. The metal typically journeys alongside military inside hazardous circumstances, the concrete suggestion of bravery directed via equity instead of loathing. Inside industry, medical centers, plus memorial offerings, the designation symbolizes expectation, which sacrifice provides reason past the instant's turmoil. The digital ages produced brand new expressions regarding commitment. Via the internet application, teams assigned regarding Michael connect individuals via areas. Public interaction locations coordinate teams discussing adventure, skill, plus applications associated with the celestial being. Digital candles shed regarding websites assigned going to this defense. Irrespective of whether approached via official faith, private spirituality, public custom, alternatively emblematic knowledge, Michael persists going to symbolize the expectation which our company maintain never exclusively inside our fights. This primordial guardian stays existing, implement prepared, appendages increased, orbs obvious, maintaining watch regarding a globe still locating the way in the direction of brightness. Michael inside preferred tradition regarding warrior going to anti-hero. Via the ages, Michael's picture provides never, ever faded, originating the communications. Inside contemporary instances, this effective attendance replenishes the monitors plus web pages, videos, exhibits, publications, plus activities, usually display this inside brand new brightness. At occasions compared to the wonderful warrior, additional intervals alongside additional advanced attributes. The technique we observe Michael right now typically shows the private interior battles. Regarding a few communications, this shows up comparable to the wonderful fighter pursuing paradise purchases without having uncertainty. This implement glimmers alongside paradise brightness when this battles regarding precisely what stays correct. These communications echo the earliest communications wherever Michael continues rigid, opposed to wickedness capabilities. However, contemporary communications possess additionally provided Michael brand new profundity. A few depict this alongside uncertainty, questioning if the instructions tend to be genuinely simply additional display, this torn separating obligation plus compassion. This change shows the altering impressions regarding blind devotion plus the gray zones separating advantage plus wickedness. Inside the movie Legion, Michael requires a striking move beyond Paradise's approach. This opts going to safeguard mankind whenever additional components look for going to eliminate these. This hanging change provides this comparable to the insurgent, much comparable to the historic challenger, Lucifer, yet regarding distinct reasons. The uprising arises originating affection instead of conceit. This movie requires individuals imagine whenever obligation might require going to bow, going to compassion. The extended operating display. Supernatural illustrates yet another picture regarding the celestial being. Currently, Michael looks comparable to a challenging figure, effective yet flawed. This pursues the dad's purpose, yet displays recommendations regarding conceit plus perhaps cruelty. This, Michael advises our company which capability, perhaps whenever employed regarding excellent, might adjust individuals that employ this. Comic publications happen to be actually additional striking inside his consider regarding the Paradise Warrior. A few show this alongside appendages regarding material, plus orbs regarding flames, battling demons via instances plus room. Additional display, a tired fighter used up from countless struggle, looking for calmness, yet regarding eternal struggle going to protect upon. These contemporary communications usually merge primordial stories alongside fresh notions. These maintain Michael's middle attributes, this capability, this feeling regarding equity, this function, because Paradise's protector, as introducing individuals comparable to battles. This inquires, this uncertainties, this produces options which at no time continue obvious. What actually makes these communications therefore efficient remains their connection, primordial confidence, plus contemporary uncertainty. Michael continues at this getting together with stage, the figure equally blessed plus associated. His fights right now get location definitely not merely separating paradise plus heck, yet inside spirits plus intellects. Perhaps, inside video activities, Michael creates the tag. Individuals could consider the function alternatively encounter this compared to the manager fight. These activities faucet directly into our very own serious desire, going to wield paradise capability, going to remain separating planets, plus model the trajectory. Throughout these contemporary communications, Michael persists the emblem regarding expectation, the conviction, which ultimately, excellent triumphs opposed to wickedness. However, right now, the tale additionally communicates going to the battles alongside obligation, option, plus this search for the simply course inside a place loaded with tones regarding grey. Michael, like a soul guide, directly to the other side. Whenever the remaining breathing leaves the physique, primordial opinions relate our company, we will not encounter this unidentified independently. Inside multitudinous communications, Michael comes going to guide beings regarding the dividing, separating planets. This mild function counterbalances the fierce warrior picture, displaying the celestial being's compassionate aspect. Inside countless medieval depictions, Michael maintains machines going to counterbalance the beings regarding the perished. This stare reveals definitely not severe evaluation, yet mindful focus. Every character gets the owing, every lifetime assessed alongside paradise treatment. Primordial communications relate the way Michael brings the newly departed alongside comfortable brightness, which reductions via passing's darkness. In contrast to the frigid feel regarding the Reaper, the attendance provides temperature plus guidance. This recognizes the trajectory via peculiar routes, going to every character's suitable position. This function connects Michael going to additional guides regarding the perished via international stories comparable to the Egyptian Anubis that brought beings going to the evaluation. Alternatively, the Greek Hermes that brought elements, going to the substance sticks. These kinds of numbers provide comparable to connections separating lifetime plus precisely what comes after. The idea regarding the sought information throughout passing's barrier achieves the extensive mankind requirement. Our company anxiety definitely not purely passing per se, yet acquiring misplaced following this. Michael's function comparable to psychopomp, a Greek expression indicating guide regarding beings, reduces this anxiety. This guarantees 0, 1 perhaps wanders independently via the substantial unidentified. Inside Eastern Orthodox customs, pictures typically display Michael softly keeping beings comparable to important gifts. The appendages cover the departed comparable to a defend, protecting these secure throughout this remaining passage. Such pictures communicate going to the wish, which passing, comparable to beginning, takes place underneath treatment observe. A few primordial communications state Michael remains during the thresholds separating planets, definitely not merely going to evaluate, yet going to greet individuals that resided nicely. This greets excellent beings as previous companions, instead of comparable to the rigid gatekeeper. The implement remains sheathed whenever this participates inside this gentler function. Community locations of worship via European countries typically decorated Michael upon surfaces close to burial grounds. Such pictures advised mourners, which the cherished types got the guide inside the remaining passage. Even as physiques returned going to ground, beings discovered the trajectory residential alongside paradise's support. What actually will make this function, therefore relocating, stays precisely how this displays Michael's complete selection. The comparable being which did not have demons simultaneously, plus uses touches mankind elements alongside tender treatment. The capability provides definitely not purely inside fight, yet inside instance regarding extensive modification plus apprehension. For the individuals close going to passing alternatively, observing cherished kinds move, the idea regarding Michael holding generates calmness. This communicates going to the wish, which moving, originating lifestyle, going to passing persists. Definitely not the distinct tumble directly into shadow, yet the guided go directly into brightness.